Hey, it's Josiah, and this is Christian Rock Summer. We are continuing our month-long exploration of Christian music with Josh Christensen joining me as co-host. And after last episode discussing some very bad Christian music, it felt appropriate to talk about some good Christian ska. That's right. We're talking about Five Iron Frenzy. And as you can see by the length of the episode, this was a huge undertaking. This is a band with a lot of history and a strong cult following. And one member of that cult is fellow member of the Fruitless family. I've decided it's a family. James C. Liker. James is a massive fan of the band, as am I, so it was a blast to do such a deep dive. Both James and I watched the 3-hour documentary about the band, The Rise and Fall of Five Iron Frenzy, which will be in the show notes if you want to see a lot of crazy 90s footage of these goofballs touring around. But aside from being goofballs, Five Iron Frenzy's legacy rests a lot on them being a surprisingly socially conscious band, especially for their context as American evangelicals. For a lot of people that grew up in that world, myself included, they would often be a conservative evangelical kid's first exposure to a lot of political questions, especially about capitalism and America's imperial history. They're a really fascinating band, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. But before we get going, I do need to say that you can support this show on Patreon. For a mere $3 a month, you get access to 2 additional episodes per month, as well as the occasional deleted scene from a main feed episode. And you're really going to want to be a patron for this month, because the 2 Christian Rock Summer episodes that we will have on the Patreon are going to be a lot of fun. If you're not quite ready to support the show financially, that's all right. Consider just leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps out with the algorithm, helps people find the show, and I might read your review at the top of an episode. So that's cool. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's get on with the episode. Let's do some skanking for the Lord. You are listening to Fruitless, a podcast hosted by me, Josiah Sutton, as well as my friend Josh Christensen for this month. This episode, what is it? It's 91, Woke Youth Group Ska, where we discuss Five Iron Frenzy.
I'm eating an orange juice.
Oh, okay.
No, I've never been more excited to talk about a band on Fruitless, the podcast.
Yeah, this is one we has been on my list when I first decided to start doing Christian Rock Summers. This was one that was going to happen. And, a combination of trying to find the right guest for it, and then wanting to be able to do a good job with this one is what's put it off for 2 or 3 years. But this year I was determined we are gonna do it. And part of the reason that we are gonna do it is because James has been down my throat. You need to do this episode.
Yeah.
And so James had to be on the episode. That's what we landed on. James is the guy.
Yeah. Just so we're clear, the ideal guest was not me for the episode. I'm kind of a second or third choice. And, I forgive you for that. But, yeah, I'm not going to be as good as someone, some other schmuck who might be a little bit better. I don't know. Fuck me, I guess. I don't know.
No, honestly, you earned this because the whole last year when it was okay, this guest issue, I'm not be able to work this out. The whole time you were sending me research that you were doing for this episode you weren't going to be on. And at some point I'm we just gotta have James on it. It's only fair.
Look, as we all know, I'm completely neurotypical, right? 100%. I'm normal, right? I'm not on anywhere, any spectrum, but sometimes I just get really into something, and then I just let's just read everything about this thing, and learn everything about this thing and just think about this one thing obsessively for months at a time. Yeah, everyone does that. That's normal. It's just part of the human experience.
I think this is also a theme because I joined the Five Iron Frenzy fan Discord, and there is a channel just for neurodivergence. So
amazing.
Like you're in good company.
What do you mean by that?
Right. Sorry, you're neurotypical. Me too. We're all neurotypical on this call. Welcome to Fruitless, a neurotypical podcast. I'm Josiah. I'm joined today by Josh.
Yeah, it's Christian rock summer. I'm back again.
We're going.
I guess the music correspondent of Fruitless. So putting in extra hours this month.
And of course, we got James here. Hello, James.
Hello, howdy.
And okay, so we're talking about Five Iron Frenzy. We're talking Christian ska. I guess I should say that formally if somebody's not familiar with this band. Like I've already just said a lot of hype without explaining. So Five Iron Frenzy was a Christian ska band from the late 90s into the mid 2000s. They broke up for 10 years and then they got back together in the 2010s. Five Iron Frenzy is also generally known as kind of like the weirdly woke evangelical ska band. And okay, so before we get into let's do personal relationships to the band. So James, do you wanna start off and tell us a little bit about how you accepted Five Iron Frenzy as your Lord and Savior, or do you want me to go first? Because you're giving me a look.
So the funny thing is, I mean, this was a band, I must have been like 12, 13, something like that when I started listening to them. So I got into them like right towards the tail end of their first run as a band. I think probably, and this is really, really funny, I got into them, Jesus of Nazareth, actually.
Really?
I got
okay.
Yeah, no, I got that CD from the local Christian bookstore because it looked silly and funny. I didn't know what it was because I didn't know really anything about music. I was just like, I discovered like, I like music, but I was just kind of buying random CDs, trying to figure out what I was into, what I liked. And so I didn't have any concept of like a B-side album. Like I didn't know that these songs were supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
So I think the first song I probably heard was Kamikaze.
3, 2, 1, I'm going in.
First track off Jesus, and I was like, this is like pop punk. It's got trumpets, this is different, it's cool. And I think probably I listened to that one, and then when The End Is Near / End Is Here came out, I got that one, that album. So I got into them like right when they were closing up shop, basically,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then ended up forgetting about them for maybe like a decade, Like I would hear about Five Iron like coming back, and I'm like, that's kid music, that's for babies. Why would I want to listen to that,
Yeah.
But
Right.
ska is basically, I have a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel, and I like to think that ska music is what plays in his head all the time when he's walking around. That's what it sounds like to be a Cavalier Spaniel.
Yeah, there's the classic tweet that it's ska is the sound of what goes on in like a 12-year-old's head when they're eating mozzarella sticks. I think about that a lot. That led to the Five Iron Frenzy fan group on Facebook. I hate Five Iron Frenzy, just having lots of mozzarella stick memes for like years.
Right. But I think I rediscovered them because I found out they were woke.
Yeah.
They're woke. They're woke now.
They're woke
now. Now they're angry.
Yeah.
They're making angry music. They're bitter.
Why
do you have such a spirit of bitterness? Why can't you celebrate Christian unity and just put up with everything that's going on and be happy and keep making your cartoon music?
Yeah. And this is said by people who definitely were paying attention to the lyrics in those first few records. Yeah, of course.
And then, I'm a natural contrarian, so it's like, well, actually, I think it's good. I like it now. So, but no, I love this band. I just got done listening to their entire discography, straight up bangers, like so many good songs, like literally, like I said this for a while. I do think they are probably the best third wave ska band. and I'll fight you on that.
Yeah, they're up there at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my relationship with them is like similar, that I got into them at a similar time in my life. But I didn't get into them as hard as you, I think. Well, no, you went back to them, right? And got really, really into them then. I got into them when I was about, I think 14 or 15. I had some friends that discovered them and they were really into them. And I don't know, they really latched onto the goofiness and stuff. I was more of an emo kid. So like some of the goofiness I struggled with, but I couldn't argue with even the goofier songs being really catchy and really liking them, you know? And so I don't know, it's interesting because Five Iron Frenzy in a lot of ways goes up against a lot of my impulses in art because they're not as self-serious as I wanted in high school, you know. But I latched onto them. And so interestingly, I have a similar, like, not a normal first pick for record that I latched onto. First one for me was The End Is Near, The End Is Here. And it was because American Kryptonite. Which to this day might still be my favorite Five Iron Frenzy song. But then I really liked Wizard Needs Food Badly. There's a bunch of goofy songs on that record, actually. There's So Far So Bad. I thought that was hilarious. Like, I don't know. So I think they made an impact on me. And then there were a few songs like American Kryptonite that clearly had a left-wing perspective that I think planted a lot of seeds in my head. Get Your Riot Gear off of Quality as John. Did I just notice it's Quantity as Job 1? I always thought it was Quality.
It's Quantity.
That's hilarious.
Me too.
That's so funny. Okay. But
no, for years I thought it was Quality as Job 1.
That's so funny. Well, anyway, off that record, Get Your Riot Gear. So like, which is kind of an anti-police brutality song. I think I had it on the Intro to Christian Rock episode last year. So yeah, they had a different perspective, but I didn't really make much of it. And then I got really excited though when they were coming back. Like I get such a warm feeling when I hear Dark and Stormy Night, that song, because when that dropped, it was huge among this like group of friends I had in high school. We were all so excited for the new record. And then I don't think many of us really got that deep into the new record. And if I recall correctly, I think it is because one person at least told me like, oh, they got woke. I mean, not actually, they wouldn't have used those terms in 2013, but something around those lines. And I think I didn't even I wasn't even opposed to music that was that way, but I think I didn't want to deal with the anxiety of like dealing with a Christian artist that's doing different stuff now and all my friends hate them now or something. And I don't know. So they just lingered in my head as that band that like, you know, had some songs that were really important to me, but I didn't really, I don't know. I didn't really explore to the same depth that I did for this episode, I think. Like I'll every couple of years I'll go like, oh yeah, Five Iron Frenzy, and I'll get back into them for a bit. But this was my first time really spending some time with them at the level I did. And God, I love this band. I really love this band.
I think Zen in the Art of Xenophobia is my Xenophobia?
He says it as Xenophobia in the song, but I say Xenophobia. It doesn't matter.
I think he just pronounces it wrong to make it rhyme. But
yeah.
That's probably the best song they've ever written. In my opinion, that's my favorite.
It's a 5 hour. It's really good. Yeah,
it's absolute banger. It like lyrically, it's almost like something you hear on like a Green Day record or something.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's real American Idiot era Green Day for sure.
I just had a repressed Christian summer camp memory. Now, before you say anything, it's a good repressed memory. It's not.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, it's not that kind of thing. But I just remembered probably my first exposure to 5 Iron is my mom would send me to Christian summer camps, and she'd send me like 2 or 3 week-long camps every year because she wanted to get rid of me. being a annoying, precocious little fat child. So she's like, "Oh, just send him off. Send him off to some sleepaway camp so that he can get bullied by other kids instead of the normal kids who bully him." But I remember there was a talent show at one year, and the camp counselors did lip sync to the entire Pants saga.
Oh, okay.
The entire My Pants saga. That's probably the first time I ever heard Five Iron.
That's
Okay.
funny.
And I didn't know where that came from. You didn't have internet back then. I'm an old man. I'm on death's door. So I remember a time before you could just look stuff up.
Oh, yeah. Josh, to what extent do you have a personal relationship with Five Iron Frenzy?
Yeah. So
you're muted right now, by the way.
Oh God. Yeah, you can leave that in. Bass boost it, chop and screw it, do whatever you need to do. Yeah, so I will say this band kind of missed me because what ska had to offer was not what I was looking to get out of rock and roll music in my adolescence. So kind of skipped right by them. But yeah, people would bring up that they are silly and fun. Like Five Iron Frenzy, silly and fun bands. That was just kind of the first, kind of contact in youth group, and oh, where do you start with Christian rock? Oh, here they do this, and I'm like, not what I
silly
need
and
right
fun
now.
doesn't, not up your alley.
I'm not doing silly and fun right now. Reliant K is enough of that. So. Did that, and then later on in college, they would come up in conversations about okay, who were the Christian bands that were just actually good, and they would come up in conversations with my college buddies as an exemplary rock and roll band of their genre, actually good. And then later on, oh yeah, surprisingly leftist, surprisingly about the social justice stuff. So I don't know, I never heard really a bad word said against them from basically anybody, except some really bitter, stodgy old punks who don't think there should be any Christians in the scene whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, that was that. So it was kind of cool to kind of see the whole evolution, just have a quick tour through the entire discography. Yeah, they're good.
Awesome. All right. Well, we ready to go through the history, and there is a lot of history of Five Iron Frenzy. So because of being a ska band, this is a band with a lot of fucking members, which is why the history here will be a little tricky to go through. So origins here, we're starting at the very beginning. The band starts out with 3 members, Reese Roper, who's the lead singer, Keith Horig, am I saying that right?
Who cares?
Okay. And Micah Ortega. These 3 formed an industrial thrash metal band called Exhumator. They were really into Crucified, and they're into some thrashy stuff, actually, which is really funny looking at where they're gonna go.
I should be familiar. I know Christian thrash exists. I've just never quite gotten around to it because I don't think that's what I'm looking for in a thrash band.
Maybe it's good. I don't know.
There's always a few, because there's I don't know. Well, it's kind of funny. There is a doom metal band that is basically contemporary with Black Sabbath that is also widely respected in the scene, that called Trouble, that just is straight up a Christian band.
Okay, so it's out there.
The idea of a band that is exemplary in niche rock and roll or extreme metal or whatever, that is also Christian. There is at least one of there's a complete set of those guys. There actually is the proper Christian music pantheon. It's just not, it is not actually supported by the Christian music industry.
Yeah, it actually came out of the underground, probably. Well, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to note here. They're coming out of the underground. And so if if everyone recalls back from the Christian Rock summer, or the intro to Christian Rock episode last year, talked about how Christian music really changed in the late 90s, because after the success of Nirvana's Nevermind, there was record labels were interested in exploring underground scenes and trying to sign bands, which led to the explosion of emo, for instance, because that led to Sunny Day Real Estate getting signed and stuff like that. Christian labels engaged in a similar behavior. They started trying to find Christian bands that were coming out of local scenes. So that's the kind of context that Exhumator is coming out of, right? So they're playing Christian shows and regular good old-fashioned club shows. Funny note also, they became an industrial thrash band specifically because Micah's brother was the drummer, and then he decided not to be in the band, so they replaced it with a drum machine.
Amazing.
So they're like, we're industrial now, I guess.
That's how you do that. Yeah, that's how you...
Yeah.
And then Scott Kerr joined after meeting Reese at a Campus Crusade event. And he would go on to be kind of their like main songwriter. So Reese is generally the lyricist and Scott is the songwriter generally, until he leaves, but we'll get to that. They rented a single bedroom apartment together, eventually upgrading to a 3-bedroom house. With the 4 of them, and then they got their drummer Andrea Vedecchio, who had been flirting with Christianity kind of at the time. He was kind of interested in it a little bit, and went to see the band Prayer Chain because he hadn't been to a show in a while. And at there, he met a friend who liked his Crucified t-shirt. Again, that band really did actually kind of unite everyone, or at least a lot of the early members, and introduced him to the members of Exhumator since they needed a drummer. And so that's how we got Andrew. And Vedecchio, like, I think was particularly attracted to evangelical Christianity and for Exhumator because he had kind of like seen the rougher sides of the punk scene and stuff like that. And so there was kind of a safety to the evangelical model. It's like, these guys aren't going to like do hard drugs and, create fights and shit, like these are going to be some safer dudes to hang out with, and I can still going to play this kind of music.
I mean, right. Early mid 90s, like we're still in pretty much like suicidal tendencies is a big deal. And this is sort of the gang affiliated era of hardcore
yes,
music.
Exactly. So it's understandable maybe why someone would be attracted to these dorks aren't gonna.
I think that's an important. That's growing to be an important thing of being a fan of this music, is just kind of not whitewashing how really truly kind of rough and tumble and countercultural it was. Like, I think we're in a much more sanitized, commercialized phase for this type of music, for better and worse at this point. Like, I think the scene itself is healthier and attracts a lot more healthy personalities, but we have to reckon with the fact that this was music for like true outcasts in its origins.
Yeah, absolutely. So Andrew joined the band, and he played the last Exhumator show and the first Five Iron Frenzy show on the same day. His first show, if I recall correctly, was that because they decided to launch Five Iron Frenzy as a side project to Exhumator.
That's so funny.
They were all kind of getting into pop punk at the time, and they were kind of like, it could be cool to have a pop punk thing. So they had a pop punk side project open for Exhumator. And they were kind of like, at the time, all really influenced by, ska, like Skank and Pickle, but also like NoFX and Rancid. Those are like the kind of bands they were really into at the time, and got them into more pop punk stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So Five Iron Frenzy was this opening act to Exhumator, and all the band members noticed that the audience had a lot more fun with Five Iron Frenzy than they did with Exhumator. And just, and this was Five Iron Frenzy without the horn section yet. It was just, as a pop punk band, they had a lot more fun playing, and they were like, you know what, like, let's do this. This is what we're going to do.
If you watch the Life and Death of Five Iron Frenzy documentary, you can find clips of Exhumator, and you can see Reese Roper doing the thrash vocals.
Which that's so funny.
Yeah,
he does actually have a real metal theatricality to his vocals that I didn't really think much about until knowing about the thrash background. Like, in all of the music, it's kind of there. Yeah, so let's see. They end up going to Cornerstone 1995. Now, brief detour for those who aren't familiar. Cornerstone was the big Christian festival, like kind of where a lot of the big Christian rock bands of the 90s and 2000s cut their teeth at Cornerstone. It was like the underground festival. I mean, it was huge, but it was where the underground bands went.
God, I feel old knowing that people don't know about Cornerstone anymore.
Well, yeah, because the last one was a while ago now. When was the last? Cornerstone
frick.
show.
I never got a chance to go.
Me neither.
I don't even know if I could have. I mean, how would I have gotten to Cornerstone? I don't even think I had a car back then.
So they technically played Cornerstone, but not legally. There was a thing that people at Cornerstone like to do where there's a skate ramp near where they did the festival that had a electrical outlet in the ground, and so bands would do like spontaneously like set up there and play shows, and real underground bands that weren't recognized. And so that was like Five Iron Frenzy's first time playing Cornerstone was playing an illegal show.
Hell yeah.
Let's see, we got a few more members joining here. So we got Lenore Ortega, Micah's cousin, often going by the nickname Jeff the Girl. She is intensely Christian as well. Like, I think recently Lenore are like the ones that are the most evangelical and like stick it out in my estimation. Am I wrong in that, James? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I haven't seen many interviews of what. I mean, Micah seems to still be. I don't know about the other. I know that Scott and Andy are still deconverted. I don't know what the other was that.
Spoilers.
Three.
We're not supposed to say they're deconverted yet.
Oh, well, maybe you can cut that out.
No,
I don't know.
keep it going. It's fine.
I don't know what the other guys, like, I don't know what Keith is up to. I don't know what Brad and Dennis think, so.
Sure.
Yeah, I can't tell you. They're not as, they don't do as many interviews, right? They don't go in front of the camera as much. They just kind of, they're more keeping to themselves kind of guys,
Yeah.
So I don't know what their thoughts are at this point.
Well, anyway, so Lenore joins because while she went to a Bible camp at one point, she met Reese and Keith when Micah had brought them along. So met them, liked them, and then at a show at one point, Andy ran up to Lenore and said, "We heard you play saxophone. Do you love the Lord?" And that is how she was invited into the band. Scott invited a trumpet player from church to join, which is Brad. Yeah, Nathaniel Dunham goes by Brad. And then after a few shows, a pastor that Reese is really close with, Mike Saris, showed up with a trombone playing kid named Dennis Culp, who would join the band as well to finish off the brass section there. Funny is how Reese and Scott ended up at the church with Mike Saris is that they were kicked out of a different church because they refused to cut their hair or take out their piercings. So that's where evangelical Christianity was in the 90s.
I think I know we're in this like beautiful new era of like regular folks discovering just how crazy it was inside the evangelical bubble all this time. And I think that's something that we can't underline enough is like mainstream acceptance of like behavioral policing down to hair piercings, card playing and dancing was still like weirdly widespread through the 90s.
Yes. Yeah, I mean there was some of that going on when I was a kid in like the 2000s. Like it's around,
There's something very quaint about it where it's like in the 90s it was like, I don't know if he's a real Christian because he smokes cigarettes and he has a tattoo. And then nowadays it's just like, I don't know about that guy. He doesn't support President Frank Booth and his latest President Yellow King and President Jeffrey Epstein and a Groucho Marx mustache. Disappointed by God,
Well, we're gonna get to a lot more of that, I think, as this goes on, because I mean, this is a band that was kind of constantly running into issues with that wing of the church as it developed more, the like right wing nationalist wing, So their third show with Five Iron Frenzy was opening from MXPX, and that was a level of success they had with Exhumators. So they really they were like, okay, I guess we're going the right path here with Five Iron Frenzy. And so as ska was blowing up, they were one of the only ska bands in Denver. So I hadn't said that they're forming this in Denver specifically. So there's their geographic connection there. So they're the only ska band in Denver, so promoters found them to be the ideal openers for big ska acts when they came into town. So they very quickly got to open for like Real Big Fish and,
I just love like music business logistics like that. It's like, okay, how did this band make it? It's like they were just in an unsaturated market and got a lot of opportunities an equivalent band in a larger city would never have ever gotten.
And I mean, because ska just blew up. It was a real flash in the pan kind of cultural moment. So there was kind of like a, oh, fuck, are there more of these bands anywhere? We got to find them. And then the Christian market was looking for that as well. And so Supertones got there first. But Five Iron Frenzy was there like a couple years later.
Gotcha. Oh, I didn't realize Supertones were the first Christian.
I didn't realize that either, but they talk about being at Cornerstone and I think it was actually, I don't know if it was in the 95 Cornerstone or 96, but that kept getting mixed up with Supertones. Like people would see them and be like, oh, you're the ska band here. And they're like, no, we're the other ska band here.
Let me correct you.
And so at the time, their goal, and they struggled to maintain this goal, but their goal was to play 50% Christian shows and 50%, quote, secular shows, regular club shows. Part of this was, they obviously did well in the Christian market. And as time goes on, the Christian market was able to provide them with a lot of resources and money that the other stuff wouldn't, but they liked the other stuff more. And so they found it more rewarding to play club shows. So they kind of did both. And what that would go on to lead to, as we'll see, is a really untenable touring schedule. Just really unsustainable amount of shows they were playing. And their output is crazy once we get like rolling here. So they released a 7-inch called It's Funny But Not Very Creative, which was kind of their demo. It included 2 tracks that are going to be off their first album that I think we'll talk about. And then also included a punk cover of Amy Grant's Everywhere I Go. Which was, that's kind of a classic ska thing too, right? To like cover a pop song as like a really aggressive ska song. So well within the tradition. And then they signed on to 5 Minute Walk Records, which would be their record label for basically their entire run before they broke up and then reunited. And their success came fast. So like they formed the band in 1995 and were able to, many of them were quitting their day jobs by 97.
Wow.
Yeah. And, Reese like kind of describes it as just a mixture of the flash in the pan nature of the ska movement combined with the Christian market that like led them to just have this really fast amount of success. There's your origins. We ready to dive into the first record?
Hell yeah, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. So first 2 records here are Upbeats and Beatdowns, 1996, and our newest album ever, 1997. So literally back to back. Like they had their first tour in 1996. And Leonard described it, how weird it was touring for the first time in audiences of people they'd never met, like being able to sing along. Just that being really surreal how fast that happened. The songs for both of these records were written around the same time, with Reese being the primary lyricist and Scott being the primary songwriter. For the most part, there are some exceptions. And they also played Warped Tour around this time and Ska Against Racism. So that kind of fed into all this. Yeah. And do you want to talk about some of these songs here? We could do that here. So first song off the first record is The Old West. This is why we were laughing at the idea that people conceived of them as having gotten woke after they reunited. The very first song off their very first record is about people using God's name to justify atrocities against indigenous people.
Yeah, it's hard to get woker than that.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong start, I'd say, on the woke level.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah. Incredible work. Everyone. Can't knock that. Can't knock that at all.
The genius notes for this one includes what the liner notes in the album release say, and so this is where Reese is coming from at this point. Up until the middle of the 20th century, many Americans believed in the idea known as the manifest destiny, and held that all of North America from sea to shining sea was rightfully the property of the U.S. and was given to us by God. Native Americans were unscrupulously thrown out of their homelands and slaughtered in the name of Jesus. Horror stories of entire tribes being led through rivers while being baptized just to be shot and scalped on the other side rival those of the Spanish Inquisition. Today, I see street corner preachers screaming at passerbys while the amount of neo-Nazi hate crimes are escalating every day, all of this under a blanket name of Christianity. Read your Bible. Jesus never beat people or insulted them into believing in him. He spoke the truth and set an example by loving every man. We are called to follow his example. Remember the massacres at Sand Creek and Meeker. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. That is where they are starting off. That is the note they're starting off on. James, you threw the song Where Zero Meets 15 in. Do you want to, in our kind of playlist here, do you want to say something about that?
I mean, the song is about Reese being in Denver, being broke, not having enough change to get home, and just seeing seeing homeless people, seeing people strung out on drugs, and just kind of the feeling in his heart of just wanting to help them, but not really having the resources or any way of doing that. Mm-hmm. And I think the interesting thing about that song is he said in interviews that there was this kind of pressure to make every song happy, to make every song about Jesus, and be like, oh well, if they just found Jesus, they would everything would be fine. But he said he felt that would be in some level disingenuous, that he was like, it just doesn't make sense for me to write this, because this is not what I'm seeing, it's not what I'm feeling. And so he just did it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just interesting. I think that's, it's a really good song. I mean, I like the song a lot.
It's a good song, and I think it's interesting because it's not like Reese or any of the band members are afraid to get cornily Christian, really, they will get very optimistic and Christian when the song's appropriate. But you can see early on a real awareness from Reese, of trying to not whip that shit out when it feels like it would delegitimize pain or something,
Yeah,
I don't know.
See, you're a lot smarter than me, and you talk a lot more gooder. So sometimes I let you just say the part I was trying to say.
No, I got what you're getting.
Yeah,
at.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant to say. Yeah,
that's a good song. We also have in this playlist Anthem, which, oh my god, Anthem is so good.
Oh,
that is
that
is because this is an album I didn't listen to a ton, and so some of these were kind of new to me, and Anthem is fast becoming one of my favorite 5 Hour Frenzy songs. So it's an anti-patriotism song, just straight up,
Hell yeah.
America's freedom isn't free, and it's got I like the use of a kind of corny Christian ending to this too, where he's like, Jesus Christ is the only thing that freedom means to me, which has a lot more, I think, weight when he's saying, I can't see red, white, and blue waving in the air, I don't hear the bombs bursting, and I don't even care. I'm sorry for my lack of faith, I'm not the greatest patriot. If this is all their freedom is or if this is all there is to freedom, I don't want it. It's solid.
Yeah, it's also a little bit about consumerism, just freedom is just the American, I've long said that the American notion of freedom is just deeply stupid and just shallow. It's just I'm free to consume as many treats as I want and no one can stop me. And if you come onto my property, I'm going to blow you away with a Claymore mine. That's basically what freedom is for an American. It's not freedom to do anything. It's just freedom to be like a little piggy, just gobbling up as much of the world's super profits as you want.
Yeah. And I mean, that is a theme in Five Iron Frenzy as we keep going. Like
Yeah.
he really finds something really despicable about American consumerism and the kind of culture around it.
Yeah, right. I do think it's kind of surprising, like how a lot of these sentiments just kind of do exist in evangelicalism. Like there is a real countercultural streak to it. So you do find a lot of like anti-consumerism critiques in there. But yeah, it just largely gets drowned out over time.
Yeah. I mean, Five Iron Frenzy, I think, is a great example of like kind of showing how much evangelicalism changed from the 90s onward, because they are, much like David Bazan, we've talked about, a relic of like a type of evangelicalism that would just go on to get smothered. Because, Reese has a very, and Lenore too, I think, have very like kind of evangelical, they wouldn't like me using the term fundamentalist, but almost fundamentalist ways of approaching the Bible, where it's like, I read it and it says this, when they were younger at least, and I think a lot of people, like, especially like I think all of us would kind of fall into this camp at one point or another. We're like people tasked with reading the Bible by our conservative, mentors in some way. And then we read it and we see like, oh, like take care of the immigrants and, don't hoard wealth and stuff like that. And then we look around and go like, well, it doesn't feel like you guys are really following the thing you told me to read. And I think that's like entirely the guiding ethos of this band as it goes on. It's just like, I'm just following like what I read in the book and you guys aren't doing it. But yeah, to get some proper Christian rock, because this is definitely a Christian rock band. We got our cover of "Everywhere I Go" by Amy Grant in the playlist here, which it rocks. It's such a good cover. It's so fun.
Not beating the Cillian fun
allegations. No.
Which another thing I want to say that like I think Christian rock does really well. There is a certain style of absurdist humor that evangelicalism is capable of producing because of, I mean, it can be for the censoriousness of the culture kind of forces you to like, not rely on shock or scatology to get easy laughs. So it kind of goes into this absurdism that's fun and effective.
Yeah, that's why the Ren and Stimpy show is good, and then the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon is bad, because you gotta have some guardrails
to do goofy.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon that was on Spike TV.
That does sound an awful lot like we made Ren and Stimpy edgy. Oh
yeah, no. The guy who made Ren and Stimpy, I think he has a Polish name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's like an insane pedophile, and he made like the like X-rated version of Ren and Stimpy that was put on Spike TV, and it's really, really fucking bad. Like it's not very funny.
Also, I think that. Yeah, I think I remember when this came out, it aired on an adult animation block on Spike TV that also included, I think it was Stan Lee's Stripperella, voiced by Pam Anderson.
Yeah. It's like, having those constraints, it can make things better. You have to tighten it up. You have to figure out how to work around them. Makes you more creative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last one is, I mean, the most Christian song to me off that first record is a Flowery song, which was, I think, their first hit. Yeah, this is straight up. The chorus to this song is the doxology. It's just them singing, "Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below."
This is the one with the video where they play like a stodgy worship band that they kick out of the coffee shop.
Oh yeah.
So then they can rock out and praise in the coffee shop. That's
so fun.
Oh man, that was some classic that is a classic Christian mischief music video.
Christian mischief.
Oh man.
If you've never look up the Birthday Boys sketch Christian Mischief, where it is just pitch perfect,
dude,
filming like tame youth group style pranks in the style of Jackass. It's incredible.
Okay, so after upbeats and beatdowns, They release another album called Our Newest Album Ever in 1997, which I think I don't know, was the name from that. A lot of the names from the band for these albums are jokes, like impromptu jokes. Like I know later on one of them is named after just something resaid in a Q&A, but I think this one also might have been a joke he had made on stage. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, so they're in this really intense, release cycle here. And so, yeah, we get that first record and then the second record immediately after. For a lot of the members, these two albums blur together because they were writing the songs at the same time. So that's why I put them together on the outline here. This one is one of the ones that I loved, though. Our Newest Album Ever is one of the ones that I listened to a bunch. It kicks off with Handbook for the Sellout, which is awesome. That's a good song.
Found a way to draw a line between the world and you. Faking your identity, it's true. Did you think the word alternative was only meant for the likes of you?
There's two words I would use to describe this record, and it's fucking banger. Front to back, no skips, perfect record. 10 out of 10. I'm serious. Like this is one of my favorite albums of all time.
This one's so good. So, Handbook for the Sellout is, kind of an interesting reference to, I think, kind of where culture was at in the 90s and 2000s. So you had a lot of people that were like, into alternative music, but then would like turn on those bands once they got signed with record labels and stuff. And so selling out, was a big thing in the 90s. And so they were making fun of people who abandon music they love as soon as the artist gets like a record deal or whatever. But I don't know. I think the song's kind of funny because I think now we've gone way too far the other direction, and I would like to bring back the concept of the sellout a teensy bit. Just a teensy bit. But at this time, people were pretty militant and annoying about it, so I get why they did this song. Yeah, and then, okay, I think maybe my favorite on the record is Fistful of Sand. Because, I don't know, this was one of the heavier ones to me, and that was, I think, why it, stuck out to me initially. I also like that it does... I love when they do minor keyed kind of brass stuff because, a lot of ska is really major keyed, and I do like that, but there's something about the, more dark sounding kind of stuff they'll do. It's really cool.
Yeah, you can get a little dirgy with it.
On a lyrical level, this one is kind of like humans are motivated by greed, I guess. It's kind of a song about human greed in general, but it goes into lots of fun directions with it. It has kind of a treasure hunter feel at one point, because it's like, talking about, going into darkened tombs below the Sahara and stuff like that. So it's got kind of that feel to it. It's kind of the genre feel to it. I don't know.
One of the interviews I would listen to for this episode, one time on a podcast, Reese talked about how he sees himself as a democratic socialist. Now, he's actually a social democrat. He killed Rosa Luxemburg and whatever, social fascist, whatever. But the interesting thing is that he's also very much reformed. He's very Calvinist. And so he makes an argument for socialism based on human depravity, which I think is actually kind of interesting, which is just we need a state to enforce the rules because people will kind of screw each other over if they get the chance. And it's I kind of rock with that. That's kind of cool. I'm 75% of the way there.
Yeah, that basically was kind of my route to left-wing positions too, was kind of through a reformed lens like that. It's kind of reform, a lot of people like to use that reformed theology to be that's why you can't have socialism, you can't have utopian projects. But from my perspective, it was always well, we need something to keep wealth from accumulating because mankind is inherently greedy and, depraved. It will accumulate endlessly if you don't stop it.
Yeah, we're definitely not seeing what happens when that starts spinning out of control at all. Right now.
Yeah, things are going really good right now, actually.
Yeah. The richest man in the world cannot just cause untold havoc through posting and media appearances. That can't happen.
You know, there's a little bit in this, you know something we talked about how like tech bro billionaire guys don't believe they'll die. There's a thing Five Iron Frenzy really likes about like breaking out the "you will one day die" kind of thing as a response to greed and stuff like that, because that appears in this song a bunch. The you know, like describing like the masses cheer to hide their fears that no man lives forever, you know, is a line in this. It's
Hell yeah. Oh, good news on that front. The really weird biohacker guy that like, you know, compares his and his son's like nighttime erection data. He gave himself an autoimmune disease. His stomach is eating itself.
he
biohacked too hard, and now he fucked his shit up.
Oh man.
Yeah, that seems like it would do that. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Just take some vitamins and roll the dice. I mean, it's fine. Just eat a vegetable and exercise, and I feel like you'll be okay. You know, and you have money, so you can just pay for the doctor if you get sick. What's the big deal? Like, he's giving him his tummy a computer virus because he's hacking too hard.
Fistful of Sand is a great song too, because I think it like captures this sentiment in like all these different degrees, because it's both big and small. Like it's like the greed in my own heart, this desire to fill the void, but then also it's like when it talks about ruins beneath the Sahara, it's like where cities stood, soon deserts found, now sink beneath the swelling ground. Like it's civilizations die, you know, like he's on this like big historical level as well too, you know. It's everything dies, and so this is like an endless you know, this is a pointless endeavor. It's Ecclesiastes, you know. He's pulling from Ecclesiastes clearly, I think.
Yeah.
Blue Comb 78 is another one here. This is not one that I ever really like got super attached to, but I know this is one that's like really meaningful to a lot of people. James, do you have anything to say about this one by chance?
It's just about nostalgia, about like looking back in a time when life made sense, when things felt like it was okay. Mm-hmm. I just like the song a lot because musically it's really fun. It's a really fun song. It's one of their silly ones.
Yeah, it also has a somber tone to it at the same time. Like it kind of meshes a lot of their sensibilities together, because it's a silly thing it's a story about when Reese is like really young, his sister throws this blue comb that he really likes out the window, and Reese like asks his dad if they'll go back for it, and his dad's like, no, we can't go back for it. And then Reese just kind of leaves it vague, saying this is the last symbol of my youth.
But something that was thrown out that window was the last great symbol of my youth.
But it is kind of, to me, like what it comes out of that is like a your first realization things can go away permanently, you know? Like that's kind of a really scary thought, you know? I don't know.
I also it's just kind of a big inside joke with Five Iron fans. I remember people used to give Reese combs at every show that he would go to, and he just says he has like so many blue combs. Or brown. It might be brown from lying on the ground.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay, so we also got Banner Year. Banner Year is our next song about Indigenous genocide on this record.
Yeah. I shouldn't have gotten excited when you brought up Banner Year, because it's the subject matter, but it legitimately, like, it slaps. It's such a good track.
It's a really good song, and it gets more detailed than Old West, because Old West has more of like it feels like it's doing like a genre thing about cowboys, but then it like has this dark undercurrent throughout it. This one just goes straight up. It's like talking about various treaties the U.S. violated, like with specific years. The opening line is a banner year 1864. Don't want the red man anymore. Can't have them taking up good land. Give them a token flag. Trade pipes and shake some hands. Tell them the white stripes stand for peace. Say if they raise red, white, and blue, blue coats will never shoot at you, but stripes will lose their sheen. Black Kettle was their chief. He only wanted peace. Under the flag, a massacre at Sand Creek. Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like from a fucking like 20-year-old evangelical kid or whatever. I mean, it might have been a little older than that, but damn, you know?
Yeah. I love the line, a piece of cloth can't hold your faith. No flag flies, no banner waves. I forget the lyrics. God damn it. Something upon this empty grave. No one knows where he lies, and no one knows why he had to die. Dude, it gets me emotional. Like, I literally, there's a handful of Five Iron songs. I think there's probably 3 or 4 that I cannot listen to at the gym because I start to tear up and I start to, get a little weepy. And
this is one of those.
It really, I find it very affecting.
I love there's a certain, like, going back to this simple kind of evangelical morality thing in the bridge where he goes, a promise is a promise, a judge of character. I like this because it's like, it's such a simple moral jab at what the U.S. did, because it's like, goes back to just, we violated our promises, like, we were liars, and that's a judge of character, and that's our character,
Yeah. I mean, I think Five Iron Frenzy kind of asks, what does an evangelicalism look like if you don't believe the fairy tale version of America can history?
Yeah.
What if you actually believe that that God actually asks something from you? You don't start this presupposition that you're chosen. You're like the chosen, the best nation in the world. You're like the chosen nation or whatever. What does that look like? What does that lead you to believe about like our nation and how like our history or whatever?
That's what makes Five Iron Frenzy really interesting, is that they, I think, really are just normie evangelicals in a lot of ways. And that, I think, makes some of their critiques more potent to me, or more potent at least when criticizing American evangelicals, because like they're coming from, from within the same camp, they're like, we've read the same shit, but you chose to side with Empire. Well, they also are a goofy band, so tell me about Oh Canada. This is just a song about how fun Canada is basically it, right?
Welcome to Canada. It's a maple leaf state. Oh, Canada, it's great. The people are nice and they speak French too. If you don't like it, man, you're Fistful. The great white.
They refer to this song as their hit. This is like their big hit song. I think it was on a TV show. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on what the show was. It had William Shatner in it, though, which is funny because William Shatner's mentioned in the song as he's a native citizen. Yeah. But one trivia fact I learned is that he makes a reference to marmosets in the song, and people said, like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. Marmosets aren't in Canada. But that's actually a reference to a Ren and Stimpy joke, which is something I brought up earlier.
They really liked Ren and Stimpy, huh?
Yeah, the Kodiak Marmoset, which is a character from Ren and Stimpy.
That's it. That's funny. Okay, so they were into that. You can kind of see from their artwork and stuff that they kind of aesthetically like the kind of Ren and Stimpy thing, I think. Well, we'll come back to one of the artworks actually later. But yeah, it's a fun song. Then last one on the record is Every New Day, which would go on to be the song they played at the end of every show, at least prior to breaking up. I think they might not do that anymore.
No, they still do.
Oh, they still do. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I should mention, I saw them last year in Millersville, PA at the Electric Factory.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a sick show.
Hell yeah. That sounds so good.
Yeah, it was, the Pilfers were there, and there was a band called The Rectors, which I didn't really like. My girlfriend liked them. She went with me. They were like a rockabilly band? They had a stand-up bassist. Okay, yeah. And it was just like, where's the upstrokes? Where's the doot-doots? Where's the trumpets? I didn't get it. I wasn't in that headspace for seeing that kind of band. But yeah, Pilfers, rock. I'd highly recommend. Kind of slept on a ska band. Highly recommend listening to Pilfers. But Five Iron just blew it out of the park.
Yeah,
they're so good. They're so tight live.
Oh, I bet.
Reef still got it. They all still got it. But yeah, they still play Every New Day as their closer.
Yeah, so Every New Day is one of the like capital C Christian songs to me. Like of the ones that are like more just straight up worship kind of songs. But it hits me still. Like this one actually, I think, just entirely. I don't know. There aren't a lot of songs that are just straight up worshipy songs that I find effective anymore, but this one does for me.
Dear Father, I need you. Your strength, my heart to make.
I mean, there's no atheists in a foxhole, and there's also no atheists when Reese Roper starts just screaming, Jesus Christ, light up the world, burning bright within our... Oh man, dude, it's yeah, when they
so
get
good.
cooking, it's just mwah.
It's so good.
And hoping for peace. Dear God, increase healing hands. Oh God, have mercy on our unclean souls once again. Jesus Christ, light up the world, burning bright.
All right. Well, so that wraps up our newest album ever. So moving on here, we are now in 1998. 1998 is the most successful year for Five Iron Frenzy, at least according to Reese. So, like, our newest album ever had topped a bunch of Christian charts around the same time. They were able to finally afford kind of a proper tour van. They converted a school bus into a tour van, so they weren't just, like, driving in and cramming everybody into, like, one car or whatever. And they played at the Ska Against Racism tour, and then right after they got back from that, they made Quantity is Job One. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I keep thinking it's Quality is Job One. Quantity is Job One. This one is interesting. It's got album art by Doug TenNapel, which I would not have noticed this if it weren't for a friend of the show, Jackal, who pointed this out to me the other day when I was telling him about the band. This Doug TenNapel is the guy who made Earthworm Jim and Cat Scratch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Really weird is he went on to be like a huge outspoken right-wing guy. Like he's like a crazy reactionary guy on Fox News. It's yeah, that's a micro bummer of like these really influential 90s animators turning out to be mega creeps and crypto fascists. Yeah. But I do think that kind of links up with their love of like Ren and Stimpy and stuff you were mentioning, James. This I think kind of connects to that a little bit. I would love to know the story of how they got Doug TenNapel to make this album art, because this was, I think, when he was like working on that stuff. So I don't know how that happened. Hey, this is Josiah from the future editing the podcast right now. I quickly wanted to say that I just noticed that Doug TenNapel also did the album artwork for our newest album ever, the one we just finished talking about. So yeah, I don't know how long that relationship between the two went on, but Doug TenNapel did make at least 3 album arts for them. So Quantity is Job One, our newest album ever, and then also the live album Proof That the Youth Are Revolting. He also made the physical 3D piece that's on that cover art. So yeah, pretty cool. Okay, back to the episode. Well, okay, next thing is that Scott Kerr leaves the band around this time. Like he stuck around for the recording of Quantity is Job One, but he left after losing his faith, and the band was aggressively Christian at the time. So that was, it was kind of difficult to, I think, be in the band as a non-Christian at the time. So he started questioning his faith, and then in a story very relatable to me, started reading apologetics books, and that ruined his faith. Classic.
That's so funny.
Many such cases.
I mean, I'd put overexposure to apologetics as a key motivator. Just you go over it enough, and I'm like, this doesn't fucking make any sense.
These are bad arguments, dude. Like, I remember distinctly having a lady at church when I was first going to college and still going to church. And I had said that I was studying philosophy. She was saying that she was excited and saw me as maybe the next great, apologist, And I remember feeling so disgusted at that it like planted a seed of like, I never want to do that. I never want to be the guy talking about the ontological argument in a curriculum.
You're gonna craft the perfect undeniable arg. You're gonna make the perfect apologetic.
She was like, you're gonna be like William Lane Craig. I'm like, I really don't want to do that.
No.
I really don't want to do that, actually. Yeah, so also like a contributing factor as well to him like kind of leaving Christianity was being around a lot of secular bands during the Ska Against Racism tour and just vibing with them more. Reese talks about this time also being hard for him, even because he just started feeling like the people he met in secular bands were better people than the Christian rock band members he'd met. So this was like a consistent thing for them that went on to kind of like bother them, I think, was that the Christian bands don't behave the way they think they should, you know? And it wasn't for the reasons that, a lot of other people would go after Christian bands. It wasn't like, oh, they smoke or whatever. Although maybe some of the hypocrisy would have bothered them in that case. But like, in the case of like moral stuff like that, but in just how greedy they were. Like Reese was just deeply bothered by like, he was like, when we opened for like Less Than Jake or something, they didn't like big dog us, in the way that like Christian bands would act like, we're better than you and act arrogant or whatever. He really hated also 80s metal bands like that Christian metal bands, because he opened for a few of those with Exhumator and really came to hate that like 80s hair metal Christian artist.
So he probably opened for like, well, if it was like a Striper or a Petra.
Yeah. I don't know if it was them specifically. Maybe the B tiers like below those guys, I would imagine. But they would act really cocky,
Did you ever see the live performance of Five Iron at Cornerstone in 1989?
No.
It was recorded as the Proof. I think it was the Proof Youth Were Revolting live album.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
no, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
If you watch the video, they come out and they're all dressed like Striper, and Reese has like long hair, and he just screams to hell. I'm not gonna do it, but he's just screaming to hell with the devil.
Cornerstone, are you ready? There's one thing I have to say before we play this song, and that is, to hell with the devil!
Yeah, he does the line.
Amazing.
They're all dressed as Striper. Yeah, they would always play, like, there's tons of clips of them playing shows, and they're always wearing like furry animal suits.
Oh yeah, they did a bunch of that.
My favorite one was Reese coming out, and he's wearing he just has like a grass skirt, and he has a coconut bra.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah,
and a cowboy hat.
I was good at thinking about taking a screenshot of that and trying to make a post out of it, but not, where it's like Reese cross-dressing woke, or Reese culturally appropriating not woke, unclear.
That's a good post. That's funny.
Anyway, so they record this EP before Scott leaves. I don't know, it always feels weird to call this one an EP though, Quantity's Job One, because it's the same length as the records. So I don't know.
Well, that's because their number one job is to create quantity.
Exactly.
So it's an EP, but it's a full length album length EP.
Well, and it comes out in 1998 too. So again, we're seeing this yearly release schedule. So even they're making jokes about that in the title now, that they're like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And this like really tight release schedule was rough on them. Like there are a lot of these songs had the lyrics finished the day they were recorded. Like Reese would have to just like go into a room with a notebook and just like come up with some shit.
Yeah. Sort of like I remember like the song Superpowers with that there's a lyric of sometimes we have a deadline for writing our songs. 5 minutes are left to write this one. La 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 la.
That's off of our newest album ever. Well, okay, so Quantity is Job One. We've got some tracks here. In our playlist, we kick it off with My Evil Plan to Save the World, which I think is what the record kicks off with too.
I have an evil plan to save the world for every man, and I think it's better than the way it's being run. Oh, the groundwork's laid. No, don't be afraid. I'm sure that I can fix it when I figure out the physics. My evil plan to save
This is a good song. I like this. This is one of the ones I return to a lot. It's a nice goofy song, but it's also got like a political bent to it a little bit. I would say arguably this is maybe their most conservative song. I don't necessarily mean it as a jab, but it is a bit of like an anti-utopian project song. It's about this idea like humanity thinks they can solve everything by, social organizing or whatever, and they can't, There's a little bit of that going on in that. I don't necessarily think I don't think that makes it a bad song though. And I think like usually that's one of the more interesting conservative critiques usually is the like utopian thinking perhaps, or what, like social planning, the ability to thinking you can just kind of organize society as you like it easily. I don't know. There's something to it.
I think I'm a little bothered by that song just because he brings up kind of the problem of evil, but in a way that I personally find a little bit dismissive.
Yeah.
Starving children in pain. You can't believe in that God. The world's not spinning your way. Does every dog still have his day?
And I don't know. I think people like to think that's sort of sorted out. Like people in the church like to think that problem of evil is something that's been sorted, and I don't think it has been. I don't think there's I have never found a really satisfactory answer for that. So, but it's still a really, really good song. It's like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
One of my top 10, let's say.
Top 10. Yeah. I think, I think you're right, though. It does kind of do that. And that is an issue, I think, because I don't know. I became really interested in the problem of evil in college a lot. And I became really convinced that was like the best argument against God that you like actually have to deal with if you're going to believe. And I still to this day kind of think of it as like it's like a problem that you have to like mull over. It's not something you get to dismiss easily. And I think it's easier to dismiss when your life's been okay.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever read The Doors of the Sea by David Bentley Hart?
No, I have not. That's
sort of his work on the problem of evil. And I think his conclusion is just like, man, I don't know. Like, I mean, as Christians, we just have to you have a responsibility to do good and to hate evil. And that's kind of it. Like, I don't really know how to tell you, man.
Yeah.
Like, he does it. Like, he wrote a book specifically not to answer the problem of evil, just be like, it has to be a mystery. The only way it works is if it's a mystery. Like, I'm sorry, I can't give you an anscer to that.
Gustavo Gutierrez had a book that stuck with me a lot. That was just on Job. Gustavo Gutierrez is like the for those unfamiliar, big liberation theologian, Latin American Catholic liberation theologian. So an avid leftist, and his like book on Job, he kind of reframes it where he doesn't go after trying to answer the problem of evil and gets more into he criticizing like Job's friends, for instance, and kind of compares them to the way middle-class Christians talk to, like struggling poor people, where it's like you try to start coming up with explanations for why this bad stuff is happening to you, and rather than like be there for that person and help them, that's kind of like he kind of changes it that way, where he's like, how often is it that people just theologize at problems rather than try to solve them? And that's like what Job's friends did in that scenario, Anyway, it's a good book. Well, we also have All That Is Good, another good song.
In honesty, there's room for improvement. Thoughts may change, the truth be told. A closed mind will leave you empty. Use your mind to use your soul.
It's like a song that was kind of about doubt in an interesting way, because it's like encouraging young evangelicals to be open-minded in an interesting way. And I think it comes from a real like type of Christian thought where there's this idea that like, look, if I believe this is true, I believe that if somebody does embrace questions or whatever, they'll eventually get to the answer that, of God. So I'm not scared of questions. It's like kind of that framing, which is kind of a classic evangelical framing that I don't think is true, but I don't like hate that sentiment, because at least it is like permissive in a way of just like, yeah, you should be willing to question and engage with stuff. But I mean, I think, not everyone lands on the same answer when they do that. And that is kind of a challenge to that, I don't know, view. And then we got Dandelions. Is this another one that you can't listen to at the gym, James?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it very emotionally affecting. I really love the central metaphor of the song. I mean, you can explain it. You go ahead and explain it.
I mean, the simplest version of it, I don't think does it justice, because it starts sounding more and more like a corny sermon metaphor when you don't have it in as eloquent of lyrics as Reese gives. But it is comparing this child giving his mother like a vase of dandelions, and then it has this chorus of she sees love where anyone else would see weeds. All hope is found. Here's everything he needs. And then it goes on to compare that to humanity's relationship to God, or your personal relationship with God. So yeah, it's. Yeah, again, I don't like that simplifying way of saying it, because it sounds like just like and it kind of is just like a sermon metaphor thing. But I think with the music and everything, it is really emotionally affecting. I think I don't know, it's the best expression of that type of sentiment I've heard, probably.
She sees love where anyone else would see weeds.
Let's see. We also have "When I Go Out" on the playlist. The shortest song. Maybe their shortest song. I'm sure they've done other short songs, but yeah. You know what? I'll play it for you now.
When I go out, I play the street, I get hit by cars, I make accidentals, I get hit by cars.
This is the one that you have the lyrics for on the back of your shirt right now, right, James?
Yeah, I got it at the show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's weird wearing shirts that have text. I feel weird wearing shirts that have text on like the back when I go out in public. I've never worn this short shirt out of the house. I don't want people talking to me. I don't want people reading it and then being like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. I just
Fair.
That's fair enough.
But maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe I should. I think I need more human connection. I think I need to get out more.
I mean, in my experience, I suppose it depends. But in my experience, living in a large city and wearing shirts with writing on the back, at worst, you're kind of getting somebody who recognizes it and goes, "Sick shirt, bro." Most people are not like, "Hey, what does that mean? I'm going to start a conversation with you."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, people do that. People do that to me, usually about my water bottle that has stickers on it. It's very annoying. Yeah, then we got Get Your Riot Gear. Hell yeah, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, up there with one of my favorite 5 Iron Frenzy songs. So yeah, I mean, the premise of the song is that cops make riots, and they wrote it. This is in such classic them fashion. I don't even know if initially trying to make that big of a political statement, they were describing what they witnessed, because they were living in Denver after the Super Bowl, after a Super Bowl where actually I don't remember if the Broncos won or not. But after a Super Bowl in Denver and in 1998, and the police responded to the rioting collectively with collective punishment. You know what I mean? They tear gassed everyone, and that was their attitude. Where it's yeah, there were some people misbehaving or whatever, but the cops didn't go after them. They went after all of us. We're a bunch of evangelical kids just there, not doing anything. And we got tear gassed,
Yeah. People will say "Oh no, this song's not political. It's just about that one thing that happened that one time." But it's I don't know, man. It seems like every other year people bring up this song and say, "Wow, this is more relevant than ever."
Go and get your riot gear, swing your girly all around. We'll be dancing on the cinders as the town is burning down.
I listened to this song so much in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I experienced it too, right? Again, it's I watched the way the cops reacted because one guy threw a water bottle at them while the rest of us are all peacefully assembled. You know what I mean? Like they're looking for somebody to be the instigator so they have the excuse to collectively punish all of us, you know?
The lyric, controlling with fear, threatening and menacing. If you want my respect, you better start respecting me.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh man, that's where it's at right there.
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Pretty. Yeah. Again, I know the gimmick of this whole episode is to keep reminding you this is a 22-year-old evangelical in 1997 or whatever, but for real, these are not sentiments that you existed a lot in this world.
No, I mean, yeah, anybody deeply embedded in the evangelical ecosystem is just gonna say, like, at best is gonna say, like, well, I support the thin blue line.
Yeah.
I back the blue.
Yeah.
Don't clip that out of context.
I still have the clip of use out of context. I hate women. That's one
okay.
I hold on to. I think it's good.
I hate women. I back the blue. God damn it.
Yeah, so I found a really awesome, and by I found, I should say that somebody on Genius linked a really awesome interview with a few of the members of Five Iron Frenzy, because like a lot of interviews don't directly seem to ask about the political stuff as much as I would have liked. At least when Reese is getting asked about it, it's like recent. It's in the last few years because the band's gotten so like that reputation since they came back. But like, there's not a lot of interviews, and it's what I'm interested in is like, how were they landing at these like left-wing positions in 1997? And one thing I was like kind of surprised by with this interview with a lot of the members is they know their leftist stuff better than I expected on some things, but then also have very like, I don't know, very just like 5Z evangelical kid reasoning their way through it. But they're like, I don't know, quoting Cesar Chavez and shit. Like they're not unaware of the left-wing tradition. And so, yeah, that's where I got Keith explaining them witnessing the Denver Super Bowl riot from. And then I've got another longer quote from them I think I'm going to read in full later for the song Giants. We'll get back to that, though. Okay, we also got the song The Untimely Death of Brad. This one was about how there was Reese on stage at one point joked that the trumpet player Brad had died because he wasn't able to be there for one show that they played. And then this exploded into a bunch of internet rumors and stuff. So this is a like kind of joking, like dramatic telling of the death of Brad. So it's pretty funny. It's a funny song.
I don't believe in ghosts. I've never seen one. But isn't the trumpet playing haunting on this album? The untimely death of Brad. How sad it must have been.
Then yeah. And then we got These Are Not My Pants, the rock opera. James, you want to tell me about These Are Not My Pants?
It's like I think it's just them screwing around they're just screwing around the recording studio.
Yeah.
Every member comes on and they do a different genre of the song, which I think they're really improvised about how they have pants, but they don't know whose pants they are.
I'm wearing these pants and they're not mine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling up with fear, 'cause these are not my pants. Not my pants! Whose pants? Are these anyway? Are these bodies?
I don't have any insight on it, really. I think they're pretty. The songs are pretty self-explanatory, you know? Like, they have pants. Whose pants are they?
Come on, people now. This is the time to unite over the revolution of the pants.
I will say the one that always gets me is the last one, the hip-hop one, where they just bleep out random words.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bit.
You out the what's up? Yo, me and Bobby, we was walking down the yo, we didn't have nothing to we had our pants on, but yo, these ain't my pants. I'll get them off now. Tight.
I think this was like considered the silliest song. This is the one that kind of broke containment. Like, oh yeah, this is really funny. You should check it out.
Yeah. So this was maybe the first Five Iron Frenzy song you'd heard. Was like one of the Pants
heard
songs.
About or something. It did. Going back to it, it did sound like vaguely familiar. Like I have definitely been in rooms where it has been played.
Okay, yeah. This was like a lot of the friends that were really into Five Iron Frenzy were just like enamored with with this. I was too serious and emo to enjoy it as a kid. I was like, no.
Gotcha. This is not serious music.
This is not serious enough. I liked Get Your Riot Gear. I could sense the irony in the happiness in that song. But
the Pants, they do nothing for me.
But now I have a good time. They're really fun. It does show the diversity of the band's like it does show the kind of like breadth of the band's ability to make different sounds. You know, they do a pretty good job at, you know, doing a lot of different genres or whatever. All right. Well, in 1999, Scott finds his own replacement. He felt that was like something that he owed the band since he was leaving and trying to leave on good terms. And so he found Sonny Johnston. Do you know much about Sonny? I didn't actually end up taking many notes on him.
No.
Okay. He gets interviewed a lot in the documentary, but yeah.
I don't know. I found something about him off-putting. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like in the doc when he talks about the band's mission and about God or whatever, I just found him slightly weird. He's probably a fine guy. I don't really know anything about. The thing is, he's a replacement for Scott. Like, he's not a real member of the band, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, Scott's back, so he's just kind of like, it doesn't count, you know?
Yeah. That being said, I mean, he's there for a lot of great songs, so it's kind of funny that you think of it that way.
I'm kidding.
But I feel that way too a little bit.
Sometimes they say things I don't actually mean. They're called jokes. Well, of course, since I'm not funny, sometimes they don't land. Since
you are funny. You are.
No one respects me. I'm hated by all men who behold me. I walk across the earth in sackcloth and ashes. Children spit on me.
So, okay. So Sonny joins the band. And then also in 1999, Reese's girlfriend / fiance kind of abruptly breaks up with him, just kind of calls it off. It's kind of like it throws him off. He never got an explanation for why. It just ended. And it's kind of like weird when they explain how it had happened. Like his girlfriend was in Mexico for some sort of trip or whatever, and so they were having a hard time communicating with her, and so he just like hadn't talked to her for weeks, and then she got a hold of him and just said like, I'm done, and then that was it.
Big oof.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Same year, they also, or maybe it might have been the next year, but they witnessed a guy die in a car accident while on tour. They described this on the documentary. That's just like really brutal. Like, they were just on their way to a show, and somebody got in a car accident in front of them. They saw the guy fly out of the car, and a bunch of the band members ran over and tried to like resuscitate him and couldn't do it. And then they had to play a show that night because that's the schedule they were on. Right. So again, the tension I'm kind of talking about, like, this is getting unsustainable. This is like part of it too, is like traumatic stuff starts happening to them, and they're constantly touring and recording. And continuing with that, Columbine. So, Micah's sister went to Columbine. So in 1999, famously the shooting, if you want to go back, we did an episode, about that and kind of about the evangelical stuff around that, last year. I think it was a good episode. I think we did a good job with that one.
I agree.
But yeah, so that's kind of where this story intersects with that story, around that time. And so, yeah, just again, these like lots of like kind of traumatic things happening to them. And then they, around this time, released their live album, Proof That the Youth Are Revolting. So just crazy release schedule, playing schedule. Oh, fun little thing that happened at Cornerstone. I think it would have been Cornerstone 2000, but I'm not quite sure. Five Iron Frenzy let Switchfoot play 5 songs in the middle of their set because they were feeling this band Switchfoot was going really unrecognized and had not gotten to play Cornerstone. Switchfoot had not been invited to play Cornerstone, and they felt that was unfair that Switchfoot was a good band. And Reese just mentions briefly in the documentary, he's like, they would go on to be much more successful than us.
That's so funny.
That's
We're gonna help these young up and comers Switchfoot,
because this was, I think, second album Switchfoot. So this is like
Okay.
pre Beautiful Letdown, pre them having a bunch of songs in Walk to Remember. Like that happens like a year or two later. It's crazy. But at the end of 1999, they record All the Hype That Money Can Buy, which is a really fucking good record. It's a really good record. Yeah, and then they also have a tour in South Africa in 2000 that they talk a lot about as being like really impactful on them. I don't know. They had played for, a lot of people who like, these kids that it was like the first time they'd ever seen a rock band at all and stuff like that. Right. And they just talk about it being a really big thing. And, I should also mention they're doing a lot of stuff for charity at this time too. Starting back in 1997, they were doing a thing where they had a tour called like Rock Your Socks Off or something like that. So they would have audience members bring socks and they'd collect a bunch of socks and then donate it to a local like shelter or pantry or something in the town they were playing. So they're doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
Dope.
And so, yeah, I think the South Africa tour fit into that kind of work that they did, where they, tried to help out a bit.
But if they're buying socks for homeless people, won't that disincentivize the homeless people to get jobs and buy their own socks?
I didn't think of that. You're right.
Yeah, smacks of socialism to me.
Yeah. Oh, also,
Chairman Mao.
Well, I should say they played some shows in Africa, and due to me being a ignorant Amerifat, I forget where they played the show. Oh, because they played some shows in South Africa, and if you see the show footage, it's suspiciously white audience. Those kids are very white. The South African kids are very, very white. It kind of gives me a little bit of a I don't know about this.
The first show on that tour, I think, was that because then later on, it's like They
went to this village and they played a ska show, which is it's interesting. They said that like they didn't have any footage of it, but they ended up like playing with this, just hanging out with the kids, playing with those kids. Mm-hmm. Just like the whole day, and they just like I think there's this idea that like their ministry was like not necessarily like I think they had somebody who was going to come and play the Jesus film to teach them about Jesus, but those people didn't end up showing, so they just ended up hanging out with the kids all day. And I think Reese said something about like how he felt like that was a better ministry than anything else they've done as a band.
All right. Well, okay. So off All the Hype That Money Can Buy, we got some tracks here. We got Greatest Story Ever Told. This one, another kind of just classic. This one's a bit of just a classic Christian rock song to me. It's not. I don't have too much to say about it. It's kind of like a nice though, like, I'm fucking up all the time, but God's telling the greatest story ever told. It's a little tongue in cheek, but I kind of like that. Like, despite my life seeming to be a failure in lots of ways, this is gonna mean something at some point. I don't know. Here we go. Do you want to talk about the homophobic anti-homophobia song, Fahrenheit?
When the world was black and white, watch me turn my back tonight on Freddie Mercury. You know what? I'm going to defend that song. I think it's really good. I think it still holds up.
There is one lyric in it that is the reason it doesn't hold up. And most of it is actually... So this is why I call it the homophobic anti-homophobia song. Because the main focus of the song is not... is in opposition to homophobia. But these are also 90s evangelicals writing the song.
Yeah. But also, like, I mean, it's a less homophobic song than your average, like, secular piece of pop culture from this era. Like, I don't know. I just feel like...
Yeah, that's honestly true.
Like, I don't know. I think what I was thinking about... Because I think I've seen lots of people... I said lots of people. I have seen people who were LGBT who said that, they appreciated the sentiment and that, maybe that was the best they could do at that time. But, it was really important for them to hear that. And I also just think that that was a message that did like piss off people. And I think that was something like it pissed off the right people, but I think you got to have grace for people who are doing the best they can with what they're given or where they are. Like they can't quite go all the way at this point, but it's like, here, you're showing that, look, this is where I'm going. This is the trajectory I'm setting.
Yeah. I mean, and they'll be way more vocally anti-homophobia as time goes on, especially. So, again, this is a song from 2000, but the lyric is there is a drops the line, love the sinner, hate the sin. That's the thing. But the whole song is in opposition to it's condemning homophobia in the church, and it takes a kind of classic angle that you also saw Emery took a similar angle, although I think in a probably worsely aged song. The listening to Freddie Mercury years back we talked about. Same deal. I don't know what it was about Freddie Mercury was like so many of these like evangelical musicians first like interaction with like a gay person or like somebody they looked up to being gay.
Well, he's a hell of a talent.
Yeah,
like Queen's awesome. It's one of the best bands.
Anyway, but the angle like they go to is like being like, look, we're all sinners saved by grace, and so a gay person isn't any different than me, and that's kind of the angle that like Emery does that I think worse. Reese does it in a more like more explicit way where he considers homophobia a sin. So he's like, he thinks it's hypocritical of Christians to be hateful towards someone, even if that person might be doing something that like theologically he considers sinful, because hating somebody is the sin. So he is attacking homophobia, but and it's even it's interesting how it's apologetic for homophobia, and then Reese would go on to be apologetic about this song. It's kind of interesting. It feels like the song's apologizing for itself at the time, even like apologizing for that line. So Reese has gone on to say like that he considers the line "love the sinner, hate the sin" something cowardly that he said. That's how he frames it, and I like this framing actually, because he put it in to check the box for the Christian market so they didn't crucify him for an anti-homophobia song. He did it to just make them not get mad at him. And so he, as like time has gone on, he's considered that to be something cowardly he did, something he's embarrassed of. I don't know.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And then we got 451 right after that, which is kind of funny because 451 is about the Christian music industry censoring people. So it is kind of funny that it follows that song up because, it follows up a song that Reese had, added a line to that he felt obligated to because of the Christian music industry, and now he's like, yeah, see, they censor me. I don't know.
Radio is preaching like any code you, the record companies and the TV too. No one rocks the boat, terrified of trouble, can't tamper with the walls of the sterile Christian Bible. Never your point to get people saved. You play yourself a box just because you're afraid. I'm not afraid to put the finger down. The choir's all used to the preaching anyhow. We're going nowhere, and it's happening fast.
Okay, yeah. And then the next track we have on the list, here we go, Giants. Giants is so good.
Let me ask you something. Who is behind the curtain anyway? Who pulls the levers and tells the lies?
This is just their straight up anti-capitalist song, and this is where I wanted to like read this chunk from an interview. Lenore and Keith are getting asked about songs, and Lenore starts talking about Giants here. She says The song Giant deals almost with communism, says Lenore. It doesn't blatantly say that, but it does talk about social Darwinism, which is a phrase that is used, and we're talking basically about big corporations, such as Nike or Starbucks, different corporations, predatory corporations, big corporations that take over mom and pop stores. And it doesn't blatantly say that we're socialists or communists, and I know that definitely nobody in our band holds to one political agenda, but I mean, who cares if people say Five Iron is socialist or communist? Don't listen to them. We've gotten those stereotypes from previous songs, such as Anthem, as being anti-American, but it just bounces off of us because, then again, we're silly and nobody takes us seriously enough to really care. We're not a threat to anybody. Yeah, the thing about Giant, adds Keith, is that it's just about the idea that human dignity is sacrificed, or human life is put aside in favor of making more profit, and that's something we think is wrong. The music for the song Giant was written before the lyrics, continues Lenore, and the little cassette player was given to me and they said, put words to this. I sat in the back of the van driving through various cities, seeing the same restaurants over and over in the same buildings, the same Walmarts, and I was thinking that there's no creativity anymore in how buildings are made. If we all shop at Walmart, we're all going to look the same, we're all going to dress the same, we're all going to have the same stuff, and the music was getting to me, and I don't know why, maybe I was tired, but I was getting really angry. Well, I was trying to explain it to Dennis, and he said to him, it's a metaphor. The corporations are like giants, and in Revelations, giants are spoken of. We're not sure, this is speculation, but I mean, possibly the giants taking over the world could be corporations. If you think about it like that, I don't know. But they certainly are a threat to creativity and integrity. So, yeah, I love this one as like a Revelations-y style, like, horror story about capitalism.
Yeah. It's great.
There's some great lyrics on this.
Yeah, I do love how they seem to get at all this as, from like, evangelical first principles.
Yeah. Some of the anti-corporate stuff, I mean, the thing is that it feels very Adbusters to me.
Yeah.
We need to introduce, I think we need to introduce these guys to the immortal science of Marxism, Leninism. And
they're getting there. They're coming.
This is like, come on. I mean, mom and pop shops, I mean, come on. This is still an exploitive enterprise. This is just what capitalism does. This is just the end point of cap. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a good song. I really like this song a lot. I think it's really interesting musically. Yeah, it's got Reese is singing through, like, it almost is like sounds like he's singing through an effects pedal, or it's almost like he's like coming through a radio.
Yeah.
And then it has like a sort of really cool build up to a really big, like the last like third of the song just sounds really big.
Yeah, it's like operatic,
and really epic.
You know,
yeah.
And I love that what they have as that build up happens is this kid reading this quote, and it's this house is haunted by the ghost of Adam Smith, the wealth of nations and the further death of innocence. To rule the world, the desire of every man. The earth is shaking. There are giants in the land. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
The red sun is rising on the broken carnage from the darkest place.
All right. Well, from there we go to last one we saved from this record was A New Hope. Which that is the one that we talked about on the Columbine episode. So that's the one that's directly about Columbine. As we said, Micah's sister was at Columbine, and then also one of the victims, Rachel Scott, was a Five Iron Frenzy fan. So I've been listening to this one a bunch frequently since the episode we did last year. So.
Going back to school today. Elation, jubilation beams from her face. Did the whole smell of gunpowder still? What made the human mind talk at us to kill? A new hope. Where there's freedom, a new hope. Cast off your burdens.
Okay, so after that album, 2001 is a really hard year for the band. We had kind of those accumulating personal life traumas or whatever that were happening leading up to this, but then it like really hits a fever pitch in 2001. So, they're having a lot of burnout because they're playing like about 250 shows a year around this time, which is fucking ridiculous. At the end of 2000, leading into 2001, Lenore's brother died. And I think was it a car accident? I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so that was, of course, obviously hard for her. And then also Andy's dad dies shortly after, at the beginning of 2001, I think, which leads to him starting to question his faith a bit. There's this really brutal line in the documentary where he says about his dad, "I knew that he loved me, but he never said it." Just, yeah, really... Sounds like it was, a really, really hard experience for him. And obviously during that time, he starts being really bothered by the concept of hell, which is, I think that's like a really common turning point. Like I think that's one of the sticking points for a lot of people when they start leaving evangelicalism is doctrines around hell.
Yeah, many such cases.
Many such cases.
Man. Yeah. Before I came on, I was watching a documentary. Not a documentary. I was watching some interviews from Cornerstone 2002 with the Five Iron members, and I remember like they were. He was talking to Reese, and the person who was interviewing asked him like, "Hey, Reese," he's talking about how his dad's not saved, and how does that work? How do you feel about that or whatever? And it just felt really heartbreaking for me to see that. It's like, I don't know. I feel like this idea is just like, it's devastating to so many people. Like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read a lot about Scott's deconstruction, but I mean, I think for Scott, like, I think probably going on Scott Against Racism and meeting all these like really good guys, in these bands, like, you don't want like they're just playing. They're like the only Christian band on the ticket, I believe, and it's like, it's like, that sucks. Like all these guys are going to hell. I don't want to believe that.
I don't want the guy from Less Than Jake to go to hell or whatever.
If you had a choice of believing that or not believing that, like unless you're like a psycho and you like the idea of being in like a walled off garden, like you'd be like, okay, well, if I don't have to believe this, I'm not going to. Like I think that's like maybe the biggest thing for people who bounce from evangelicalism is this kind of, I mean, frankly, I don't talk a lot about my actual beliefs. I try to conceal everything behind a thick wall of irony, but I do believe that the doctrine of hell as eternal conscious torment is psychotic.
Yeah.
Like it's
I agree.
Maybe the most evil invention that anyone's ever come up with. And, I think that when for me, I'm still a person of faith. I still believe, I'm still a Christian. But when I learned that there were certain ways of understanding these texts or ways of understanding the tradition, which did not require you to believe in this, I was like, oh yeah, well that's what I believe. Obviously, like it's just it was really the easiest thing in the world for me to be like, oh yeah, hell's not real. Oh yeah. But I think for some people it's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you if you're like, oh, if that's what God is, or if God is someone who does this, or that's the kind of God I have to believe in, then I guess I don't believe in God. Obviously, like why would you? So.
Yeah. I think Andy's like deconversion here kind of is that way too, because he's getting bothered by the conception of hell, like I was saying, and then he actually does say he met a bunch of secular musicians that he liked, and that related to that and bothered him. But then it was also 9/11. Right after 9/11, Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson famously blamed 9/11 on homosexuality. And around the same time as that, Andy was learning that his nephew was gay. Yeah. And that was it was the combination of all these things at once that just like, it just broke him. And then he tried to read apologetics books. Never do that.
Yeah.
It's never the move.
Yeah.
So there's a really great quote from Andy here I'm going to read, where he tells about an anecdote related to homophobia and stuff. So Scott had already left the band as a result of a couple of things, one of them being him being an atheist. And at that point, I was like, I'm a fucking hypocrite. I'm up here and I don't believe this stuff. That fucked up rhetoric I heard surrounding 9/11 and that whole God hates F slurs thing came out. And I was trying to come to terms with what I believe. And the whole time we'd play these shows where youth ministers get up and rant the same nonsensical, narrow-minded garbage. I knew the guys in my band didn't necessarily believe some of the stuff that was said. At one point, it came to a head when we played a festival called Kingdom Bound. I think it was in Rochester, New York. The kids were being kind of rowdy. This guy gets on stage and is just being kind of a pushy like Gestapo. I had had enough at that point. I got up from my drums and I said something. That guy doesn't represent us. He's not part of Five Iron Frenzy. If he freaked you out in any way, don't let that make you afraid to come and talk to us because he's not what we're about. Afterwards, it just erupted. It was just him and this other guy and me by myself. These guys were both huge and they would have eaten me up. I'm like, look, you can't say stuff like that and not expect somebody to come back and say something. I'm not going to let you yell at these kids because they're having a good time. He gets in my face and yells at me, and this other guy comes over and starts yelling at me. The one thing I remember being said was, when I was in the Marines, we had a way of dealing with guys like you. I said, what do you want to do? You want to kick my ass? I'm right here. Go ahead and kick my ass in front of all these kids. I would love for them to see that. That's where it ended. He just walked away and said, there's no way to get through to this guy. These little events, and I said, fuck this shit. I cannot be part of this anymore. So I got out. The thing that was crazy was that the guys in the bands weren't like that, not in any way, shape, or form. They're not fundamentalists. They're not pushy, you know? I knew not all Christians are like that, which is probably why I don't have an axe to grind with Christianity as a whole. So I thought that anecdote was really interesting. I mean, can you imagine being at that show? Like being at some Christian rock show where the pastor starts doing his shtick and then one of the band members actually standing up to him. Oh man.
Yeah.
Getting intimidated by some hot dog neck jarheads.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I love that. That's such a phenomenon, though. It's like, okay, you've got these guys organizing these events. It's like, oh, we got to outreach to the youth, and then it just goes the way any of those shows go, and it's just like, hey, you can't be too rowdy. We gotta return this rental barrier. I'm gonna get really mean and screamy during the rock and roll show and berate kids for doing what kids do at a rock and roll show.
Oh man, so you can see that there is a tension between them in the Christian environment at this point.
Yeah.
Then the last little tragedy thing to kind of mention here, I mean, I already brought up, was 9/11. 9/11 happened 3 days before a tour they were on with Reliant K, John Rubin, and Ace Troubleshooter that was supposed to start in Fishkill, New York. So 3 days before they were about to drive to New York, 9/11 happens.
That's Ace Troubleshooter is a name I have not heard in a long time.
I actually don't know them. Yeah.
That is a CD I owned, but I apparently have not retained at all.
Yeah. Oh man. I haven't thought about John Rubin for a hot minute.
Yeah, me neither. That's true. Anyway, so after 9/11 happens, they are like on their way to the tour. So they decide to go ahead and go there, and the show gets delayed for a while, and they just kind of hang out and do their best to help out in New York right after 9/11. And they went ahead and continued the whole bringing clean socks thing for that tour specifically, so they could donate to a lot of shelters and stuff by people that were impacted. And then the last tragedy that's happening around this time is ska's falling out of favor. People are getting less into ska, which is not good when you're in a ska band.
This is much worse than 9/11. This is the 9/11 of ska. They not only experienced real 9/11, they also experienced ska's 9/11.
Ska's 9/11.
In quick succession.
All that to say, this is why Five Iron Frenzy 2, Electric Boogaloo, as funny as that name is like their darkest sounding record. Is all this bad shit was happening to them at the same time. But it's also a result of them realizing ska was kind of falling out of favor. And so they were like, how do we evolve the ska sound a bit to like we can't just be doing the upstrokes anymore, I guess. We have to kind of evolve this to keep it, new. And I think they do a great job with it. This record did not I don't think I listened to any songs off this record except maybe Far, Far Away. And this one is that might become a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
A lot of the band members consider it their favorite album.
Yeah.
James.
It's interesting because I don't like it.
Really?
I don't like this album. No, I don't know what it is about it, but it's just I don't hate it. It's just I listened to it for the first time, preparing for this episode. I never listened to it front to back before. And I think there's a couple of tracks that I think are pretty good. I really like Pre-Ex-Girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other songs on the album? I mean, there's
The Day
some
We
tracks
Killed.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, musically, I don't really like The Day We Killed.
Really? Oh, I love that one.
I mean, I think it's cool lyrically, and I think there's a nice chorus, but I just don't like the heavy metal kind of ska thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I'm really into the metal ska thing now.
Where's the upstrokes, man? Yeah, I can't skank to this. Yeah, I can't listen to this album, put on a pork pie hat and suspenders and a checkered necktie and just move my arms back and forth.
Well, okay, we'll blast through this one here a little bit then. So from this playlist we saved Far, Far Away.
Can you hear the bells are ringing far, far away?
Which is, I think that's probably the biggest hit off this record, right? I hear it in a lot of 5 Iron Frenzy related things anyway. That's just a good old Christian song. It's got the good chorus with the "Can you hear the bells are ringing far, far away?" It's very good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like this song.
And
I want to say this. I think I like most of the tracks on this album individually. Something about the album as a whole doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That probably doesn't make sense to anyone but me.
No, I think that makes sense though. But
You Can't Handle This is a good track. Spartan's good. I like Vultures.
Vultures is good. Vultures is good.
Oh, Eulogy is very good as well. I really like that's one of their. I really like their kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I like their more worship songs that are very emotional and very kind of bittersweet, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next track we had on the playlist was "The Day We Killed." Which again I think is growing to be one of my favorite songs. This is the next kind of song related to indigenous issues. It's it keeps commenting on broader American culture, but coming back to the indigenous issue as kind of central to it. So it's the chorus is "The way you live shows no remorse for the day that we killed Crazy Horse." And so I don't know, there's a real sense of America needs to embrace a sense of collective guilt, about the way in which our lifestyle was made possible,
Based.
So good.
Lies. The way you live shows no remorse for the day we killed Crazy Horse. Innocents with glassy eyes kill the nation, steal their pride.
Oh, dude. Oh, they're trying to teach us. They're trying to teach the kids in school to feel bad about being white and being American. It's no, actually, fuck you. You should feel bad. You need to feel bad about your Treatler first worldist lifestyle. Shut up.
Absolutely. I mean, this song is a great guilt trip, frankly, in a good way. The bridge is they just have a spoken word reading of a quote from Black Elf describing the massacre at Wounded Knee. It ends with "Our people's dream died there. It was a beautiful dream." It's I think it's the most angry of the indigenous songs. At least style. I guess maybe because it's pulling more metal in there and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, it rips.
Let's see other Electric Boogaloo songs we got on here. We had Blue Mix. This is good. This is another attack on Christian. Actually, You remember I was talking about like them really hating the like Christian bands they would like open for that would like kind of big dog them and treat them like shit. This is just a like whole like fuck them, fuck you to those bands. It's pretty good. And specifically calls out in a lyric, it says, make us pay to go on tour, marked up t-shirts to match yours. And so this lyric brings up to me a interview with Reese that I can't stand, that I want to talk. This is the second time now I think I've talked shit about Dan Koch on a Christian music, Christian rock summer episode. I think it was on the Emery episode too. Cannot stand that guy. Sorry. He's a ex-evangelical podcaster. He was in a band. So he has interviews with lots of big people that were in like the Bad Christian World and other Christian bands and stuff. He's very lib in ways where he thinks he sounds really theologically radical, but then holds just the most center political opinions because of them. It's infuriating. And there's a little exchange that Reese and Dan have in this interview. Reese is, of course, a very nice guy and he's not going to say anything mean to Dan and probably likes Dan, whatever. But Dan talks about, I'm going to play it. I'll play it here.
We play with like Les and Jake. They had a $5 t-shirt. None of their shirts were more than $10. And then we'd go play with a Christian band and they'd have $20 t-shirts and a van and not talk to anybody, not talk to the fans, not talk to the other bands. It was pretty quick that we were just like, this is ironic that the secular bands that we're playing with almost across the board were cooler than the Christian bands.
I will say the first time that Sherwood ever charged $20 for a shirt is we were on tour with Relient K, and it's common to make the support bands charge the same as the headliners so that you're not competing on price when there's only a few bands. But man, I was so pumped because Christian Relient K fans would just have money from their parents, and those $20 t-shirts like paid for my honeymoon and my wife's wedding ring. And so I was okay with that. I'm not gonna let you put me into a Minor Threat Fugazi fueled guilt trip for taking those soccer moms' money, Reese.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I had to eat, dude. I lived with my parents.
So
no, I'm kidding.
I don't think that is the bad thing.
Obviously I know. Yeah.
So what Relient K did to you though, that's bad, and we taught them better than that.
Oh, to do price matching?
Yeah, like
I
thing.
Respectfully disagree, man. I'm really glad that they did that because nobody minded.
Oh,
no one minded paying it, and we probably increased our actual net like 75% by adding $5 to a t-shirt.
Oh man,
it was totally worth it.
It should have been your choice though.
And it just like rubs me wrong, it just really rubbed me wrong. And it rubs me wrong when I see even in the music that this is a gripe Reese has with the way these bands behave, where they, you force the band that's opening for you to sell t-shirts at the same price so that there's not competition between which t-shirt to buy.
Try to explain that to me, because it's like, why, if I'm seeing two bands, it's not like it's like I usually like one band or like both bands.
Yeah. Like I think if the thought process is somebody might go like, well, I'll buy the $5 t-shirt from the opener because at least it's $5 and not
right.
I don't know.
Dollars they would yeah.
Like if I'm seeing Norma Jean and then I'm seeing like what's a shitty deathcore band? Like let's say that like Chelsea Grin's opening for Norma Jean. Like I'm not going to buy the Chelsea Grin shirt because it's like half the price of the Norma Jean shirt.
Right. I mean, if you're
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like if you're like that's very like market brain or like
it is
like scarcity mindset or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think it's silly. I think it also prevents people from making purchases they would make that they wouldn't otherwise make too. Because like there might be some people there that are like, I would get a $5 t-shirt because I only have $5. And now they don't get a t-shirt, which I think that's what Reese would say too in this. It's just like, you know, they prided themselves in selling like really cheap shirts and shit because, you know, like you want people to be able to get get something, you know, like.
You know, I just want to say something. I'm sorry. Dane Coke is such a wiener. I really don't like that guy. I just want to say, I used to listen to UF Permission because podcast. I think it's called something else now, but whatever. He used to have some pretty interesting scholars on, and I got a lot out of some of the interviews he did. But he is just like he was like. I remember in like 2020 when Bernie dropped out, he did like an episode with his like a friend of his where they're just like sucking each other off over like how the reasonable moderate won. Like Biden won or whatever. God. And then it's just like, yeah, man, how'd that work out for you, idiot?
Yeah, that was because that was in 2020. And then, I mean, if you want a good reading on where this guy's at politically, he started a podcast called Depolarize in 2016 after Trump won the election because the country was getting too polarized. So we gotta, we
gotta come together and find common terms and embrace dialogue and togetherness. Go fuck yourself. Go hang out with your Nazi friends. Honestly,
yeah. Well, next track we have here, real quick, is Vultures, another good anti-consumerism, anti-capitalism kind of song. I like this one that it just straight up just starts saying "When the revolution comes." Like it's just like, oh, the revolution's coming, man.
Any day now.
Any day now. And then we also have Car. I don't have anything to say about Car. We can move past that. There's so much to talk about. I probably need to be picking up the pace quite a bit.
Yeah. We're at 2 hours and 16 minutes and we haven't even gotten to the breakup yet.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh boy. So sorry. All right. So obviously the whole touring schedule and everything wasn't sustainable. They had a bunch of fighting and stuff, it seems like, happened on the 2002 Warped Tour. And then kind of famously what happens is they would do this like meet with a pastor. This is how religious they were. They would like do a spiritual retreat where they just hang out with a pastor, with that Mike Saris guy that was kind of with them the whole time.
Gotcha.
And during that retreat, at some point there was just clearly the vibe everybody was getting sick of this shit. And so they went around and had everyone say the shortest and longest amount of time they would be willing to stick with Five Iron Frenzy. And Andy said 1 year. So they went, all right, we'll wrap it up in a year. So they grind out really hard for this like one last year and then call it quits. So in this time they release Cheeses of Nazareth, which is just a collection of B-sides that James had mentioned here. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they released their final album, which is The End Is Near, which, you know, has a really fun tone because they know they're breaking up. So much of the album is just jokes about breaking up.
Nice.
And it's probably one of my favorite records of theirs. It was the big one for me.
Yeah. On Cheeses of Nazareth, there's one standout track that I really like called Rhubarb Pie, which is the song Ugly Day, but with different lyrics.
Yeah.
The song Ugly Day is about Christy leaving Reese, and then they have another song. It's just about how good rhubarb pie is.
Now I like potato chips now, please don't get me wrong, but I haven't tasted Mama's rhubarb pie in so very long. Rhubarb pie in the summer, rhubarb pie made by my mother.
I'm a rhubarb head myself, and so I can appreciate a fellow person of taste. You know.
They also have the song you added that's about eating dog food.
Yeah, well, that's just funny. I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
That's good. Okay, so tracks from The End Is Near here. We got So Far So Bad. Love this one. It's a joke about how they were gonna write the perfect song on their way out, but you'd never hear it on the radio, so they didn't put it on the record. And it's just them listing of like all these amazing things the song will pull off. And their political perspective is apparent because one of the lines is, "It would overthrow the bourgeoisie." They're reading some theory at this point, I guess. I don't know. There's so many good lines in it. There's like, if you play it backwards, it tells the kids to stay in school. It's pretty funny. And then we have one of my favorite Five Iron Frenzy songs, American Kryptonite. Another classic anti-consumerism one. It's got a lot of really great lyrics, and it's got that cool part where Reese is just screaming, buy, what is it? Buy, take, break, throw it away. It's really
Although
cool.
when he performed that song live, it was Micah who was screaming it.
Oh, maybe it's Micah that screams it.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's doing the vocals on the record.
Really good. I also really like the line "Save yourself from sacrifice." It's just like a good jab at I don't know, whatever. Yeah. All right, we also have "The Wizard Needs Food Badly," which is again, funny enough, probably the first Five Iron Frenzy song I heard. It's just kind of it's a dude's rock anthem. It's about a romantic partner hating you for being a gamer.
The wizard needs food badly, the vulture can't be incomplete. The things I love, you hate so badly, I must not go down in defeat.
You know
Hates
what?
you for how much of a gamer you are.
Honestly, skill issue.
That's right.
Get yourself a gamer GF. I don't know. That's actually one of the Five Iron Frenzy songs I'm not the biggest fan of because personally I just don't find nerd culture like reference humor to be funny.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, that ship is completely sailed. I mean, it's
maybe
like
in 2004,
but I think in 2003 it would have.
It was
2003.
Well,
yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still novel. We were still. I mean, I think the mainstream acceptance of referential nerd humor starts with Clerks, basically.
Yeah.
And is like still gaining steam and is still somewhat novel at this time. And I mean, yeah, I guess at what point, I think it's probably by like 2013, 2015 that it's like, all right, we've had enough of this shit.
Yeah, we're good.
And now we're a decade past that and it just still hasn't gone away.
Oh my god.
Everything is Ready Player One forever.
Yeah.
I still like the song. I think it's funny.
Hey, remember that thing you liked when you were a kid and you didn't have any obligations or responsibilities? What if everything was that? What if like the thing you liked when you were like 15 just showed up on screen and you just clapped your hands like a seal every time?
Hey, it's that thing I like.
It's the thing I like.
I get to spend money on it again in a new way.
Okay, last song from this record that we have on here is That's How the Story Ends. I like the song a lot too. It's just like lots of references to previous songs. That's really mostly what it is, where it keeps like making up an ending to the story and it's adding closure to their songs. So it's like, oh, you found the blue comb.
Oh, it's just, closing every narrative.
Yeah. Oh, the pants come back up.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
but they're not. Yeah. But they're not pants. They're lederhosen. Hooray! Hooray!
And by the way, those pants, they belong to my dad. And they're not really pants, they're lederhosen. Hooray!
And that's how the
Oh, Micah has returned, because we didn't include that on this playlist, but there's Where is Micah? There's a song. Oh, Brad's alive. There's like Brad comes back and has like a dramatic moment where Reese is saying, "Where have you been all these years?" Anyway, it's good. It's fun. Yeah, and that's how they go. That's how they went out in 2003. And they stayed broken up for a decade. We won't go into this. Maybe future episodes worth exploring here, but there's a bunch of side projects that spin out that don't really go anywhere. Brave Saint Saturn, which started in 1999.
Wasn't that I think they were on Tooth and Nail, weren't they?
They might have been, yeah.
Yeah. I think if I remember correctly, Tooth and Nail is one of the record labels they almost went on when 5 Minute Walk dissolved. But then I think they just ended up decided to break up.
Independent, yeah. Well, yeah, breaking up, and then they were independent when they came back. So
yeah. Did you ever listen to Roper?
Yeah, so I was gonna mention that one here real quick. I'll blast through these. So there's another band called Guerrilla Radio that didn't really go far, and then Reese Roper formed or was in a band called Roper briefly, which you added one song from that to the playlist. Very good song. Thank you, James. I really liked this song a lot.
Yeah, that was a good album. They only did one record, and Reese Roper absolutely hated being in a band named after himself. Basically, the story is, I think Frank Tate, owner of 5 Minute Walk, thought it would be cheaper to promote the band if it was just named after the singer.
Yeah.
Apparently, Reese claims that he hated the band name so much, there was another band named Roper, and he wrote their record label to
get them sued.
Get them to get a cease and desist. I think he wanted to call the band Ninja Force 5000.
Yeah, I think that was in one of those interviews you said, because I burst out laughing at that, because they were like, what did you want it to be called?
Ninja Force 5000.
But yeah, the song Bay of Pigs is really good. It's kind of like an anti-charismatic worship retreat song in a weird
Day
way.
of Pigs.
Or Day of Pigs, yeah.
So I wanted to bring up that because Five Iron. Have either of you guys watched the Amazon Prime documentary series Shiny Happy People?
Yes.
All right. So season 2, Five Iron actually gets the call out. One of the guys who's interviewed said that they really wanted to go to Acquire the Fire because Five Iron was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got actual bands, and apparently, it was very culty. It's very it was part of like a larger kind of reactionary charismatic movement, and
Acquire
they
the Fire,
were like they showed up and they're like, oh man, the vibes on this are fucked. Like, we don't want to do this. And apparently they got talked in. Like, basically they decided to actually play the show because there's a lot of kids there who are like really happy to see them and who were like, yeah, we don't really want to be here either, but we were really excited to see you guys. So they ended up playing it, but they I don't know, like it's kind of weird. Like, I was thinking about this of like, it's kind of weird how many of these Christian bands are like, oh, cool, churches actually pay money. Christian festivals actually pay money. And then years later, you're like, oh, snap, I think I was part of a reactionary movement. Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Egg on my face.
Referring to in case this episode comes out before the one we just recorded with the Bloodwork guys.
No, it'll come out after.
It'll come after. Okay, so but yeah, referring to something that they kind of pointed out or points a convergence on sort of the, I don't know, analysis of the rhetoric of a bad Christian rock album is how similar it is to, like, I guess, school shooter manifestos, but also like how white supremacist organizations kind of infiltrate music scenes, right? You have this, you provide this infrastructure where you make it easier for bands to do the thing, so then they're sympathetic to you.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
So it's like, there were Combat 18 is like this white supremacist organization that is then just like providing this infrastructure for punk bands to like crash and get a hot meal and tour as comfortably and as possible.
So you just
and
do
just
it.
like, and you just gotta rub elbows with some Nazis for a couple nights.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be real nice to you.
Oh man.
It's just kind of a similar thing going on where it's like, yeah, you got this band that is like kind of half in, half out, mostly touring clubs, has, you know, a lot of respect in the wider scene it's embedded in, not just in the scene, but then they're going to acquire the fire and going like, there's something very bad and wrong with the whole premise of this thing, but there are a lot of adoring fans.
Yeah.
Waiting to see me.
I was bringing that up because Reese wrote a song about it. Basically, that was it.
Oh, that's what Day of Pigs is about. Okay.
Yeah, that's the song. Yeah, that's what Day of Pigs is about. Is playing Acquire the Fire.
Saturday, I can feel the crowd's dismay. They've acquired quite a fire. To burn the propane on a narrow fire. Voices shrill, cutting silence like they mean to kill. Some valley where we scream his name. I got was losing get a board game. I don't want to waste his name this time. I will never cast him to the swine.
I took it. See, I found it really moving because I kind of projected my experience with a lot of like shitty charismatic worship settings that I've been in before, like Bible camps and stuff, which I think is that's related.
The program is the same. Like Acquire the Fire is just that exact same dynamic turned into a touring stadium act.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean it's in line with like a Billy Graham revival or rally or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's all the same. It's all the same emotional manipulation. It's all the same guilt tripping and like sort of hothouse environment to go. Basically getting you fired up to go be very socially annoying in your community for the next 3 to 6 weeks before you get bullied back into your rightful place for being a god squatter. Real sky pilots. Things of this nature.
Did either of you guys ever go to like see God Squad?
No, I never saw God Squad. I don't think.
Yeah.
I had one of the strongmen acts. Okay,
I saw one of those, but I don't remember which one. I think it was like one of the B tier ones, you know, not one of the big.
Right.
They're just like these big, huge, strong men who like rip phone books in half and then tell you how much it's going to suck when you're going to be in hell. And I had
if you don't get strong for the Lord.
Yeah, I went to. I had a friend when I was like a little kid who was charismatic, and I went to his like church with him a few times. And even as like a little kid, I was like, "This is not good." I was like, "This is freaking me out," kind of. Like, I don't think this is
never liked
normal.
it. I never vibed with charismatic stuff at all.
But I mean, it's interesting because I think Five Iron very much does come out of that sort of charismatic movement, but they're also weirdly like reformed as well. So it's like, I don't know, it's like a weird mixture, like a perfect mixture of like they talk about like the gifts and like spiritual gifts and stuff, but they also like a lot of talk about grace.
They seem to find a perfect balance that's hard to find. Well, the band reforms in 2013. And it happened basically entirely by accident. So like Reese tells a story, the guy that they had that ran their website basically caused all this. So the guy, their domain name was about to expire, and the guy who ran their website didn't want it to, and, he was a big fan. And so he, went ahead and, bought it or whatever. And as he was relaunching it, he put a countdown.
It's just the under construction, right?
Yeah,
with the countdown, like, oh, don't worry, you can still check out the web presence of your favorite defunct Christian ska band, Five Iron Frenzy.
And so tons of people speculating they're going to come back or whatever. And basically Reese starts hitting up people in the band and going, do you want to like actually do it though? And so because of that, they speed run recording It Was a Dark and Stormy Night, which is why I get such a warm feeling when I hear that song, because it was so unexpected when it dropped. It was very cool because there was no build up to them coming back. It just like happened.
Dude, that's such a cool arc as a band, is like you basically you before the point of completely crashing out because you're basically saying yes to every opportunity and working at a pace that the output and work ethic is nuts.
Insane.
I didn't realize that they basically just I forgot that they were only barely a decade as a band.
Everything we've talked about until now was in an 8-year window, basically.
Right.
Crazy.
And just and all kind of like I mean, happens very fast, and so wild. And so you get a perfect exit. They don't let it destroy them. They're like, okay, does this have an expiration date on it? How do we go from there? And then like you do it in such a way that you kind of like, down to that song, you're bringing closure to yourself and your fans. And then just like on a lark, I don't know, want to do it again?
Yeah,
sure.
There's something lyrically about Dark and Stormy Night too that's perfect, because it's very vague in a way, like you can tell they quickly wrote it, but like the lyrics are real, like I've been waiting, half asleep for this promise I half meant to keep. It's like I'm reaching for something, and so it really has this yearning feeling of like, do you want to do it again? I don't know. The song feels like it's them saying that. I don't know. It makes me happy whenever I hear that song.
I'll be waiting in half-hearted sleep for a promise I have meant to keep. Just hoping that hope still finds like the sleep out of our sleeping eyes.
So after they released that, they used Kickstarter to fund the album that they were going to record, Engine of a Million Plots. It hit its initial financial goal within 55 minutes.
Whoa.
So in this decade, like, they grew a huge cult following after breaking up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a huge outpouring of love for this band. At the time, I don't know if this is still true, at the time it was the most successful Kickstarter of all time.
I vaguely remember that. Yep. I was like, really? The Christian ska band.
The Christian ska band, yeah. So they did that. Now, a lot of, since the reunion, the writing process has changed a lot. So while Reese is the primary lyricist, he didn't want to continue making band members perform songs that they didn't feel comfortable with generally. So he has every band member sign off on the lyrics now. And so because of that, we're getting a lot less praise and worshipy type songs, because 2 of the members are atheists and they don't want to sign off on that. And so, or I shouldn't speak to that, but that's not what they want to play generally. Right, yeah. And so they've gone a increasingly political direction. There's a lot less goofiness. That might also just be with age too, that they're older and they're deeply frustrated with the state of evangelical Christianity in the country right now. But yeah, understandably. Yeah. And then shortly after they released that album, they also dropped Between Pavements and Stars, which is an EP of B-sides and tracks recorded during the production of the album. So, so we got some good B-sides, which I included one of those in this that we'll talk about in a second. But so tracks from this era here, we've got the song So Far, which James, you threw it in there. Do you have anything to say about that one?
It's just a good song. I mean, it's simple as.
Simple as.
So far, there's nothing that you and I can't do. So far, we'll sing so far, it's all in you.
Yeah, it's a good song. Okay, and then we have Zen and the Art of Xenophobia, which, James, you have contended is perhaps the best Five Iron Frenzy song.
It's my favorite.
Or favorite, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. I was really bummed they didn't play it live.
That's
at the
a
show
bummer.
I went to. Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe they'll play it next. And then it's like, no, they never did. But I mean, it's very angry. It's very like sardonic. It's just like the maddest they've ever been. Reese currently lives in the South, in Virginia, and he's like kind of pissed about it. Like he's just like these fucking rubes. It also has a reference. Like it's funny because it has a reference to Obama.
Oh, it does. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, the line "Cling to your God and guns."
Oh, right. Yeah, the opening lyric.
And because he was all in on Obama 2008.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And
just like that is like, reading from the outside, that sounds like, oh, okay, so leftist Christian means you're a milquetoast lib, but like, I mean, inside the evangelical bubble, they just legitimately thought he was like a communist. Atheist, true. Right? Yeah. So it's still like it's kind of like if you're in that position, you've got no good reason not to. Like it's pissing off all the right people.
Yeah. And there was a lot of optimism at the time too for him representing something more progressive than he actually ended up being.
No, it was. I remember at the time, even kind of. I guess I was. Yeah, that was the year freshman year of college. And even me at the time, it's like, well, yeah, okay, Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, like, about time, right, everyone? We can be normal about this, like, whether or not, hey, my fellow evangelicals, whether or not we agree with the policy, can we all recognize that it's pretty cool that we've got our first black president? Like, aren't we all on the same page about, like, about this? And no.
No, we weren't, it turns out. No, not at all. Yeah, so anyway, this one's great, though. It has a real, like, I think we'd say, like, American Idiot era Green Day feel to it a little bit, and it's kind of, like, sardonic lyrical style or whatever. And then we also have Someone Else's Problem, which is kind of just a general, like, inequality song, like a wealth inequality song. I think they're like able to be a little more explicit than they were in the past. So even though it kind of fits in with the tradition of the band, they are kind of I don't know, speaking in more explicit terms at times.
Because they don't have to worry about the records being sold in Christian bookstores anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I was listening to some stuff like interviews with Frank Tate from 5 Minute Walk, and he's a pretty cool guy. I found myself kind of liking him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing he would always like, he was always behind Five Iron. Like everything they did, he would always say like, hey man, that's not going to sell in the Bible Belt, but if you feel led to say that, I mean, I'm not going to stop you, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to, you know, it's a sort of charismatic thing of like, hey, if God's calling you to say this, I'm not going to argue with God, you know? So if he wants you to talk about the indigenous American genocide, then you got to do it. Yeah. And we're just going to not be able to sell the records in the Bible Belt. And that's just what it is, you know? So I think that they're able to kind of go full mask off in a good way.
And I mean the Christian music industry is also kind of falling apart at the time that this is coming out anyway. So they do not feel beholden to it at all. I don't think.
Yeah. Like what Christian bookstores?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where are they? Where'd they go?
Yeah, in the liner notes, I'm not going to read the whole chunk, but it does, in the liner notes for Zen and the Art of Xenophobia, Reese goes, now this is what you can do when you don't have a record label. That's like the opening line. So, yeah, they're... let's see, we also have I Am Jack's Smirking Revenge, which is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird Fight Club reference in 2013. I don't know. But I do like Reese's liner notes on it where he says, it's pretty sad when you can gather more truth from the movie Fight Club than you can from 90% of what the modern church is peddling. Which, that's kind of funny. I don't know. It was a dark and stormy night, which I talked about already. It's pretty good. And then Blizzards and Bygones, which is the last song on the record. And what that is doing is them inverting their tradition prior to breaking up, where they would end every album generally with a more worshipful song. This time, they had the last song be something Scott Kerr wrote about losing his faith. So they ended on, letting one of the non-Christian members of the band speak. But I think that was a cool thing to do.
Back when the angels of heaven would sing, days when I still made you feel something, and before what might be became what's already been.
How dare they? No, I'm just.
It's also a really good song. So
yeah. Did we talk about Battle Dancing Unicorns?
no, we didn't.
Oh, that should probably be on the playlist.
Shit.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting song because it feels very 2012. That's very like kind of that 2012 random humor.
Yeah, it kind of is.
That's
yeah,
sort of like
right.
that's sort of like Scott Pilgrim style, type of thing.
Oh yeah, we are the champions. We'll be battle dancing unicorn. Oh yes.
But I think what's interesting is that it's just like the joke of the song is just like, yeah, we're trying to be relevant, man. We're just trying to keep up with the times.
Yeah.
And there's this probably one of my all-time favorite Five Iron lines, which is, I bet you've never met a Thousandaire.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, and then the one track I added from the that like Between Pavement and Stars, that the one with B-sides on it was God Hates Flags, which is just straight up about the Westboro Baptist Church. And I don't know, there's a tone to it to me that it feels like it's like a song kind of apologizing for Fahrenheit. It reframes some of it's an anti-homophobia song, but it like gets some of it a little more, I don't know, it doesn't use any lines that imply any sin associated with homosexuality at all. They just end on, or one of the lines in it feels like it's kind of like building off love the sin or hate the sin to the farther the farther response, the better response, which is, if ever there is a question, the answer is love. So there you go.
Oh,
There
wait,
you go.
is it about Westboro Baptist Church? Because I think
I thought that's what they'd said, but maybe I'm wrong.
because if God is love, you got it all wrong. Waving all your placards and flags. The very act that you're alive says God must also love douchebags. Which a little bit of a coarse language right there, but
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but because I don't think the Westboro Baptist Church are waving flags around. In fact, I think they also don't like flags very much.
Oh, that's a good point. No, that's a good point.
They're on that hate America beat.
Yeah,
It's just that they're it's just for the very weird reasons. Weird and bad reasons.
I mean, obviously the name is a reference to the sign they were using, and I think like I know that like Scott, or was it? No, I think it was. I know that like they've talked about the Westboro Baptist Church being something that really bothered them a lot. So maybe I'm projecting that onto it. It's kind of it's an anti-homophobia song, regardless. But yeah, you might be right. I think I might have projected some of that onto it.
It's all right.
All right. Well, last up is the last album here. This one is the one that came out in 2021, so pretty recently. It's got references to the pandemic and stuff like that. I like it. I don't like it as much as Engine of a Million Plots. Like, I think it's probably my least favorite of their new stuff, but lyrically it's pretty solid. It's just like, I don't know if I don't vibe with the music as much, but maybe it just needs to grow on me.
Yeah, it was fun. No, I liked the contemporary references. And then, was enjoying the mature sound of the band. They're doing a lot with, still recognizably ska, but really like figuring out how to do some cool stuff with that instrumentation.
Yeah. Well, a lot of ska purists will disagree with you because they're like, actually, there's no ska on this album. It's just rock with horns.
Yeah, it's so true. There is not the upstroke.
There's no, yeah.
I think there might be some upstrokes still.
Yeah, there is some.
They're pretty. I like the modern references. So the four that we had on the playlist is Bullfight for an Empty Ring, Renegades, While Supplies Last, and Wildcat. They're all pretty solid. I think Bullfight might be my favorite musically out of them, but I think lyrically While Supplies Last I like more because that one's just straight up angry at evangelicals during COVID, like how they behaved, and I really resonate with the lyrics on that one.
Situation protecting snipers while you hoarded all the lights on in diapers. Save some profit for your cadre of vipers because you got only famous survivors. If you focus on proportions, damn the pregnant girls and orphans, blame your decline on the LGBTQ. All for platitudes and portions, and your encourage abortion, and your poison is with poison in you.
Yeah, we're like stuck in a combination of 2016 and 2020 forever.
It's
like
awful.
it's just like it's terrible. It's just never went away.
There's a good reference too to like 90s culture war stuff and that relating to it that I appreciate, because he says, you said we all deserve this for not forcing kids to pray while your party loots the earth and tells us Jesus saves. So I like this forcing kids to pray kind of thing, because he's really referencing, man, you know, if you think about his lifetime, he has watched this culture war explode, you know what I mean? Because he's referencing like fucking, you know, the battles about like prayer in schools in the 90s, you know? And it makes me think of like how crazy it probably was for him to witness from the evangelical perspective the last 30 years.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not great.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and Wildcat is kind of fun, because that's the one that's like about a guy drilling for oil and stuff. I don't know. Kind of feels like a more like a more mature take on like Fistful of Sand, but from like a, you know, a more grounded way, like actually looking at like a guy drilling for oil or whatever.
But it's also talking about climate change.
Yes. Yeah.
And just like what we're doing to the earth.
It's all pretty good.
Specifically about the Bakken oil fields in the South Dakota, North Dakota. Yeah. So that's a wild and crazy story. That's a bad thing that happened, and I'm sure continues to happen. And because the boom's kind of over up there, but I don't know. I mean, the industry's set up there, so I guess I don't know what's going on current day.
Well, yeah, good song. These are all pretty solid. Again, I just have a lot of affection for the earlier stuff, so it doesn't hit me quite as hard. But it also could just be a result of not having enough time with this stuff, you know? Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to go toward wrapping up here, I think? Because that's the end of our story. That kind of brings us up to present with them.
Yeah. So they've talked about doing another album. I don't know. They're kind of doing this thing where they're doing a more sustainable thing. You know, they're only playing shows on weekends pretty much, you know. Yeah. Not doing tours, just like they just recently played with what was it? They played with Suicide Machines and Goldfinger.
Oh,
I'm like,
sick.
oh, that's
okay.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, that's like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater Tour. That's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's sick. I'm like, yeah, they're still kicking. You know, they're not doing it full time. You know, more of like a side thing, but it's more sustainable. Hopefully, they'll keep playing shows, put out more stuff. One of the tragedy of like the Trump administration, I really think, is just that like Five Iron, they're very serious artists now. Like they can't do anything silly anymore. They have to make very capital I important, capital A art. And I don't know. I just want them to be fun again.
Yeah. You can't make the pants songs anymore in this current political climate, you know?
Not with a dang Cheeto in the White House.
That's what I'm fucking saying, dude.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This was great. I really liked this excuse to revisit Five Iron Frenzy at this like depth, because man, I love this band. I think they're great. Yeah, I don't know. Josh, have we converted you to ska?
I had a lot of fun with this. It was fun to listen to this band. I can't guarantee how regularly it'll make it into my rotation, but like me and ska are cool. Me and ska got an understanding.
Hell yeah. I'm glad we could get that peace treaty signed here. This is good. Yeah, finally. We did it with you with folk punk and folk punk and now ska. Here we go.
Well, I mean, because I'm a little closer to middle age than you guys. Like, I mean, I think this is kind of the hinge point of life. Do you decide to get worse, or do you try to get better? Yeah. And I think, part of that is just like, okay, you can kind of, decouple music. Well, you can make music your identity in interesting ways, and you can kind of decouple your identity from music in interesting ways. So I'm trying to live the truth that music is generally good.
Yeah.
And like hate should never be my first response. Unless it's Sleep Token.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was going to bring that up.
Yes! Everyone take a shot.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I was thinking about this, right? Five Iron Frenzy, in some ways, I think of them as being a band that's sort of a victim of their own success in some ways. Like they kind of got pigeonholed into the Christian music scene, and they really had bigger ambitions. You know, they wanted to go to a major label. They wanted to play more secular show. I would put secular in square quotes. So more secular shows, more secular venues. They wanted to play, with big bands on tours or wherever. And they just ended up, playing the Christian festival circuit paid the bills. And so, they got stuck. And then they also, the collapse of ska punk also, didn't help their careers very much. But even though they never got a chance to play a lot of secular shows and get that sort of punk cred, I do think that they did have a ministry. But I don't think the ministry was necessarily to the secular kids, right? To the unchurched kids at the punk shows. I think Five Iron Frenzy's ministry was to the evangelical kids, that they had a kinder, more authentic, more compassionate, and I think truer understanding of what Christianity is and could be, that they were able to share with these kids at the show. And you see so many people who had, their thinking shifted in such profound ways from being a Five Iron fan when they were a teenager or whatever, who are now saying like, I still love this band. They were very formative for me, and they helped me to see things differently. They helped me to have these much better opinions, and so I guess what's my takeaway? I guess it's just a good band. I think they're as good as any third wave ska punk band, if not better. Better musicians, better writers. I think they definitely, they walk the walk, they talk the talk. They definitely were just like good dudes and a good lady who just like had a really good heart for people. And I'm very thankful for everything they've done. And I hope that they continue to do stuff.
Hell yeah. That was a really good note to end on, I think. There we go. Well, thank you everybody for listening to the other free episode of Christian Rock Summer. But Christian Rock Summer does continue on the Patreon, so consider supporting the show on Patreon to hear more. I think at this point of time I can spoil it. When this gets released, I'll be able to just spoil what. So on Patreon, you'll be hearing episodes about As Cities Burn and Family Force 5.
Yeah.
So we're getting weird.
Yeah.
I like white microphones. I don't like white people, but...
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps out with the algorithm. If you really like what you heard, consider supporting the show on Patreon. And one of the benefits of supporting this show on Patreon is that you get your name read out at the end of every episode. So, without further ado, this episode is brought to you by our lovely patrons who include, I am once again Philip Cozy, I drink corn syrup, yum, Vita Breva, Abagai Brodagam, Caleb Sutton, regular size horse, parentheses, small, Kyle Gannis, Moss, the worst of all possible worlds, Divining Comics, Gavin Aronson, Joseph Gross, Tuesdays, Tension Francis Shy, Randy Sutton, Josh Christensen, Caleb Butler, Ross Ben Daniels, Frankie Teardrop, Martha Zumak, Benjamin Rawls, Eden Friedenberg, Ian Standling, excuse me. No, it's Standing. James Lunt, Gratius Marxius, Ruthless Truthus, Electron Shad, Kitty Sparks, Alan, Dr. Shockmaster, Lord Zed, Nathan Thiessen, Scott Campbell, Linnea Sterte, Adam Mancuso, Neon Witch or Vavitch, Aaron, and Chris Barker. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I hope you'll join us on the Patreon for some Christian Screamo and some Christian Crunkcore. Hell yeah.
myself. Men versus machine, men versus the world, mankind versus me. The struggles go on, the wisdom I lack, the burdens keep piling up on my back. So hard to breathe, to take the next step. The mountain is high, I wait in the depths, yearning for grace and hoping for peace. Dear God, increase healing hands. Oh God, have mercy on our unclean souls once again. Jesus Christ, light up the world, burning bright within our hearts forever. Freedom, peace, love, without condition, without a beginning or an end. Here's my heart, let it be forever yours. Only you can make every new day seem so new.
I back the blue.
Yeah.